Oh, Justin Timberlake was going on there. What do you think about that? See, come on. All right. You say Justin Timberlake, I say Boys to Men. All right. I know we're, okay, I'm dating myself a little bit and understand what this, you know. Baby, bye, 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 bye.
That's NSYNC.
Oh, that's NSYNC? Sorry, my bad. I got to know my boy bands better. It's hard to differentiate between these boy bands. My bad. All right. Okay. He wasn't with NSYNC, wasn't Justin Timberlake?
Justin was with
Okay, see, thank you very much. But he wasn't. What's the other one I said? Gotcha. Okay. See, looking. I know exactly.
Yeah.
All right. See, they just put them all together and they make millions on them, and they're good to go.
Then
all
they
right.
grow up.
Then they grow up and they get baritone voices and like, what the heck? What just happened? All right. Okay. Let me get this. Who has been to 100K before? Awesome. Okay, we got some remedial students. That's good. All right. Going to summer school, having to do it all over again. That's all right. The cool thing is that we're going to do things a little bit different. You're going to see a lot of the same because, as you know, things don't change, right? The way we train has not changed a whole lot because it doesn't need to change because success principles are success principles, and that's just the way we roll, right? And so a couple words of warning here, right? That 100K is different than most training you may have already been to as far as real estate training in particular, number one. Number two, we don't pull punches because if you're going to do 100K, I'm assuming that you want to be successful in this business, right? And so if you're looking for, hey, we're going to pat you on the hand and say that's all okay, and it was good that you tried, right? That's the other class, somewhere else. It's being taught. Go down to Pro. They're probably teaching it right now. It's right down the road, all right? They'll be happy to pat you on the backside and say, atta girl, atta boy, and that's all right, okay? Here, because I'm a firm believer that, and by the way, 100 grand a year, we just chose that number. Okay, we started teaching this way back in 2008 in the midst of the crisis, right? When real estate was just at its all-time low. And I said, great, here's a time for me to, because I'm a firm believer, as Brian and I talked about last night, right? That when are you going to grab market share? In downturns in market, right? That's when companies go on the attack, is when you have a downturn in the market. So I promised all these agents, we only had about 300 agents in our company at the time. I said, come here, I'll show you how to make 100 grand a year in this business, in this market right now, right? But like 180 agents show up and about 90 of them left within the first 20 minutes, all right? When I said, we're gonna roll up our sleeves and go to work. And they said, whoa, whoa, whoa. You didn't mention work, all right? That was not you, right? Exactly, okay? But we lost some of them because they were like, because here's the reality, right? And we just chose 100 grand because that's a number. You need to pick your own number, and you need to pick another thing other than a number anyway. It's not only about the money. We're going to learn that this is a lifestyle that we're going to help you. It's because basically you're going to learn a better way to live, in my opinion, right? Because because when we are better at who we are internally, all right, then all of a sudden we're attracting more people and people want to do business with us, right? So if I can change who I am, then I'm going to change my result, right? So that's what we focus on a lot here. But the reality is, if you're going to make 100 grand net, 100 grand a year in the real estate business, then it's not going to come easy. It's not just going to fall in your lap, right? You're going to be in the top probably 2% of wage earners in the United States of America, all right? If you're at the top, so it doesn't take much to get there, right? So all you people that were out there, part of what was that movement that they never took a shower and they were anti-capitalists? Who was that group? Okay. Yeah, the anti-Wall Street. They were railing against big companies with their iPhones and their iPads, right? Corporate business sucks. As they're tweeting that out on their iPhone. Okay, Apple is kind of a corporate business, but that's all right. All right. Anyway, so if you're of that ilk, all right, you better be careful if you are one of those, people who love to rail against that, because if you get to here, you're going to be railing against yourself. All right, you will be part of the 1% that you rail against, right? So just be careful. But if you want to get there, it's going to take work. And so I'm not going to talk to the people because the reality is I removed this slide that I used to have in here, but the ugly truth is that 60% of National Association of Realtors, 60% of them, all right, grossed less than $16,000 in gross commission income last year. Okay, so people say, oh, everybody knows a realtor. Yeah, but does everybody know a realtor who works? Right? Okay, 60% of them don't work. 60% of realtors could qualify for food stamps. All right, does everybody understands that? All right, so with that in mind, there is no competition. You can look at that negatively or you can look at it positively. The positive aspect for me is, hey, look, 60% of my competition just went away. Now the next 20%, the 60 to, from 60 to 80%, that next 20% range only grossed 46,000 GCI. And that's before broker split, all that kind of stuff, right? So reality is 80% of realtors could probably make more money serving at an Applebee's. Okay, so boy, I'm motivated, Bob. Thanks for the good news, right? What's that?
What percentage?
20. Yeah, so 20%. The next 20%. So 20% do zero. All right, zero transaction. These are national. They pay board dues. 20% did zero transactions last year, and those are actually members of the National Association of Realtors. So I mean, they were paying dues because people also have a license that aren't NAR members, right? They're not realtors. They're real estate licensees. Right, there's a difference. And those 20% did zero. The next 20% averaged 4,000 or less, 4,200 and less in GCI, right? The next did 16,000 or less, right? The next 20%. And then the next 20%, 43,000 or less. So 80% of real estate agents are grossing less than 43,000 in gross commission income, all right? Now, good news is that there is no competition. Okay, we're living out, and we are prime examples of the Pareto principle, which is 20% of the work of the people do 80% of the work. And in real estate, we can look at the numbers and say it's actually more like 10% do 90%. All right, probably no different than the mortgage business, Brian. Right? No different than a lot of things. Right? So that's okay. But I'm assuming, just so you know, I'm going with the assumption that you want to be part of the 10%. All right. So if you're there, great. But because of that, we all, can we raise our right hand and say, I agree not to be offended? Mm-hmm. Okay, can you raise your right hand and say, I agree not to be offended? All right. As a matter of fact, if I do offend you, all right, ask Jim for a refund of what it cost you to get in. All right? Okay? And since it cost you zero, all right, we'll give you zero back. All right? Okay, so seriously, if you get offended, I get it, right? Just get up and, leave. Seriously, and you're not going to offend me because I'm unoffendable. And we'll just, are we good with that agreement? Okay, cool. All right, so now that we have those numbers, let's see how we're going to live in that top 10%. What are we going to do? We're going to call this one, we're changing it a little bit, we're calling it about a strategized or a life strategized. Because what I have found or what I've seen in real estate, I've been doing this about a long time, 25 plus years in real estate, and I have seen my own success and when I was selling and what I did. But then I also have seen what other people have done or when I've attempted to help them, kind of shepherd them along the way as I've become a broker and a trainer in this, that common flaws I see, right? Mistakes people make. And we're going to try and help you alleviate those. But here's the other thing. As I mentioned, we're going to do things a little bit differently. One of the things you have to realize is that there are many ways to be successful in real estate. All right? And number one, it's not hard. Okay? It's simple. Let's put it that way. Okay? It's not easy, but it's simple. And too many times I see agents try to overcomplicate. So right away, couple things to just housekeeping stuff. I'll send you, if you want, email me. I'll give you the PowerPoint. So you don't have to write down every bullet point if you don't want. Be happy to email you the PowerPoint so you don't have to do that. All right, if you want to just write down other stuff that comes to mind, that's perfect because the actual bullet points you can have later. Number two is I'm going to encourage you not to over-educate yourself. Right? I see that way too many times, right? Agents get caught in this endless cycle of training, learning, not implementing, waking up, training, learning, not implementing, waking up, training, learning, not implementing. Okay, let me correct that. Training, learning, going home, watching Law and Order instead of implementing, all right? Waking up the next day and saying, hey, look, where can I get my next bagel? Right? Because you can get a bagel every day of the week around here, even Saturdays and Sundays now. Start doing training on Saturdays. So you could eat all you want as a real estate agent. Just check your email. All right? There's somebody serving you a bagel someplace, and it's going to tell you the next greatest app or whatever you need to, do this business well. Reality is there aren't many things it takes to be successful in this business, but the biggest one is work and implementation, and most agents don't do that. All right? So if we can just get there, because by the way, all those trainings, if you did what they told you to do, they'd probably work. The reality is just we don't do it. right? So where does that come in? Okay, how do we overcome that issue, right? And so we're going to help you overcome that hurdle. Okay, fair enough? All right. So, okay, what do I strategize? Okay, so we're going to start with the concept that this is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. So get the whole idea that, oh my God, this business is, forget it. We're going to talk about mindset early. The mindset is this is simple, period. All right? It is not that hard. We are not going to overcomplicate this thing. Okay, fair enough? So when I say this is simple, your answer is going to be, I got this. All right? We're going to get that mantra in our head. This is simple. I got this. All right? It's not that hard. Right? And sometimes we have to free our mind to get there. I'm a big mind guy. All right? And what we say to ourselves and how we think. Right? Samuel, I use this illustration. Our youngest son, Samuel, he's now 12, but when he was 9, we were going over long division, and I'm a math teacher, right, by trade. I said, I can teach you long division. First of all, we're going to take what they're teaching you at school and throw it out, all right? This whole create a box and this and that. And 48 steps to do 12 goes into 487? What the? I'm going to show you 12 into 487. Let's go, right? So, and he's like, wow, that's a lot better. I say, yeah, no kidding, right? So we just did it, figured out how to do it. I said, here's the cool thing about math. I show you how to do one. I show you how to do an infinite number of problems, right? Because it doesn't matter what numbers I put in there. The process is the same, right? Because, okay. So he'd do it, nail it, bam, okay? And then all of a sudden I wake up the next morning and I'd say, hey, before you go to school, let's do 2 or 3 just to make sure we got this down. And he'd look at me like, it's like, what? So you had this last night. Okay, so all right. So we started, he was freezing, his mind was freezing. And so we got, what? Okay, so every time to this day now, we still do stuff. Hey, Samuel, how are we going to start? Because we're going to do a lesson together or something. And he'll say, I'm smart. This is simple. I got this. That's his mantra. That's how he starts every lesson. I'm smart. This is simple. I got this. It's an affirmation he's speaking into himself, right? And it's like, hey, look, I'm not going to overcomplicate this. I've done long division before. I've done now algebraic expressions as he's in his pre-algebra, right? Before. It's not that hard, okay? I'm smart. This is simple. I got this. And that's what I want you to say to yourself. Because you're all smart, right? You all know what to do. What we've learned in our training of real estate is what to do is not the problem. To do is the problem, right? If I really, Tina, if I just said, hey, look, you've got to tell me, all right, what you're going to do. If you wanted to have 3 sales by the end of the month, tell me now. And you'd rattle off, you know what I mean, under threat of bodily harm, right? She'd rattle them off. Now, whether or not we do it or not is the other question, right? But what to do is not the problem, all right? So we're going to focus on that. How about this? A life experience with the current. Picture yourself swimming or canoeing, all right, and the difference in going with the current and against the current, right? So many times we overcomplicate things and we're trying to go. All right, let's just figure this out and you know what? Life is better with the current. So let's do that. All right, so kind of envision that. I want to get my life so organized and so strategized that I just have a plan and I'm going to attack the plan. And I'm going to stay consistent on the plan. All right, we're going to live a life that's an honest recognition of this statement. I am where I am today because of choices I've made. We're all coming from a different starting point. All right, we all came from different backgrounds. It's real easy. It's kind of very chic right now to blame anybody but yourself for your problems. All right? It's my granddad's fault, all right, because that's my DNA. It's my parents' fault. Oh, if you knew the emotional turmoil I was raised in, right? It's the government's fault. If you knew what they're doing in Tallahassee and Washington. It's, pick somebody else. My church's fault. You know what? The issue is it's everybody but you, all right? And the reality is, you are where you are today because of choices you made. And you can replace that with a lot of things. My bank account has what it has in it today because of choices I've made, right? My weight today, I told you I'm going to offend people. My weight today, all right, is what it is because of choices I've made. Oh, but we've got bad thyroids in our family. I don't care, all right? Figure it out, all right? Some of us were blessed with different thyroids. Jeanette, my wife, metabolism through the roof, right? Me, I look at carbs, I put on weight, right? So I just have to change my lifestyle. If I want to stay where I want to stay, I've got to admit that I am where I am today because of choices I made. Fair enough? All right? You all agree to live by that mantra? All right? A life acknowledging my current situation. What that means is this. My goal for you is to help you discover a path to where you want to end up. Fair enough? okay? It's called a roadmap, however, whatever, a strategy, whatever, okay? However, I cannot, if I'm going to help you design a map, I cannot be accurate in helping you design your map. You got to tell me where you want to end up. That's a good spot, but you also got to be honest with me about where you're starting. If I said, hey, look, I want a map. I went to my Google Maps right now, so I want to go to Tampa Airport, right? But then I turned off my geolocator. We talked about that earlier, right? Because I don't like those things tracking me. All right. So Jim has no problem with it. I hate it. Right. That all of a sudden Jim's telling me the story that he and his wife are just talking about buying a dome tent. All right. Talking about buying it, not looking online. Next thing you know, he goes online and there's dome tent ads. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I just read Joseph, my son's 16, and he encouraged me to read 1984 because he had read it, and I read it. It's like, yeah. All right. I got your big brother right here. All right. The telly thing in the corner, right? All right. So anyway, that being said, if I lied to my Google map I said, hey, look, I want a map to the airport, but I'm going to tell it, I'm going to fool it. I'm going to tell it that I'm starting on Clearwater Beach, right? Am I going to get an accurate map from here to the airport? No, because I lied about my starting point. Okay, because remember, there's 2 points in a map. There's A and B. We're real good about, hey, I want to end up at B. Well, great, but are we honest about where we're starting? Because if we are honest about where we're starting, now we can get an accurate map. Fair enough? All right, so we got to be honest about our current situation. All right, we got to live a life lived acknowledging that the law of the harvest exists. You guys know what the law of the harvest is, right? If I sow, I will. Okay, period. That's it. It's biblical. It's all sorts of things. Whether you're Judeo-Christian or Buddhist, it's there. Okay? That whatever you put in is what you get out. Period. Right? Now you can look at negatively, saying, oh my gosh, I'm reaping what I sowed. Right? Or you can look at positively, saying, hey, you know what? Now I get to reap what I sowed. And we can't expect to cheat that law, no more than we can expect to cheat the law of gravity. Right? Can't be cheated. All right? This law cannot be cheated. When you put seed in and you do the work, the good news is when you do the work and you follow the recipe and all comes along, the harvest comes. Right? But are we going to do the work? Too many times, all right, we're expecting now the harvest without the work. Right? We're saying, hey, how come I didn't get a harvest? And the law of the harvest says because you didn't plant the seeds. Right? Like, what? I just want the harvest. Right? No, that doesn't work that way. We've got to put in the work, all right? And a life lived with purpose, focus, commitment, honesty, diligence, accountability, and love. That's all fluff stuff that sounds good, right? But the reality is, I'm not talking just about $100,000 a year. I'm talking about a good life, right? And there's a difference. A life filled with passion, that you're doing by the way, I know that none of you were put on earth to sell real estate. It was not your God-given passion, right? Now, real estate can be a means to an end sometimes. Can allow me the free time and the money and the things I want to do to be able to really affect change, whether it be working with orphans, to working with orphan dogs, to saving the earth, to whatever you want to do, right? But there's something deeper in each one of us that exceeds just the desire to meet our basic needs of food, shelter, and clothing. All right? Fair enough? All right, good. Okay? Now, imagine this, netting $100,000, and again, put your number in. When I say put your number in, because some of you that's not motivating enough. Others of you are like mind blown. I can't even imagine making $100,000, right? And so you got to put a number that's reasonable, that is stretching you a little bit, but not too far that your mind's going to shut down immediately, saying no way. Right? Because so many times, all right, I hear it all the time from our agents. I'm going to triple my business this year. Well, that's a great goal. Okay, what's your plan? I'm going to triple my business this year. Okay, well, I got it, all right, but how? I'm going to triple my business this year. Well, you better have a plan to accomplish that. And if it's reasonable, it's got to make sense, right? Just kind of pulling it out of your backside because it sounds good doesn't work, right? We got to do better than that. Enjoying the real estate business, controlling your day, all right? Here's a question to ask yourself. Are you a slave to your day? Is your day slave to you? Meaning, are you in control of your time? I'm learning more and more to control my time. Brian Heckman, you're going to hear from him later, but Brian Heckman taught me a couple years ago the value and the power of a timer right, on your phone or whatever. I went in to go meet with Brian on something. We were going to do a training together or something, and he had like an old egg timer on his desk, all right? And he said, hey, Bob, literally, I got 10 minutes, and he set that thing. I could have been offended by that, right? I said, hey, you know what? He's controlling his time. And I, quite frankly, needed to control my time. That's a great idea. And why not do that kind of stuff, right? And if people get offended, then change the people you hang out with, right? They're obviously not the kind of people that understand the power of controlling your time. Because you've got to, I did it yesterday in that grow session, right? Remember, we got near the end. I knew I had to be somewhere else. So at the end, I set my timer for 5 minutes and said, okay, it's over. Have a great day. See you. Right? And they're like, oh, what? And the one, Barbara, hey, I got a quick question. I said, call me in 5 minutes. I'll be on the road. I'll be at least on my way to my next appointment. All right? That's controlling things. And people can say, oh, I'm offended by that. Well, okay, then if you're offended by me being organized, then obviously you're not organized. And so I'm not so sure I want to hang out with you. That's rude. Yeah, well, whatever. Okay? Okay.
Now I
Okay.
have more time.
That's right, exactly. Even more time, right? Okay? Got less time sucks in my life, all right? So, working with people you want to work with. I'm going to show you how to get so busy you get to choose your clients instead of you having them choose you, right? That way you can do the business you want to do and free yourself that you still can then go to your kids' tennis match, right? I want to go and I still want to have a life. I still want to be able to attend and not be a slave to this thing right here, right? That every time it rings, dings, bings, and flings or whatever these things do, right? I got to, jump, you know what I mean? It's almost like it's Pavlovian's bell, right? Pavlov's bell that it rings and I salivate. So, you know what? I've started to control that. I removed Facebook from my phone, all right? It's a hard one for me. All right, by the way, if you're on the Facebook group page, which is down here, by the way, we're going to encourage you to join that because there's a good support group for our 100Ks. But if you've been looking to dialogue with me lately, you've noticed I haven't been as responsive. Mara is monitoring it for me. If there's anything major going on, like someone's giving really bad advice, all right? Bob, get in there quick, all right, because someone's telling somebody something totally wrong, all right, then I'll jump in. But if not, because I felt myself, I better check the group pages, right? So we like 3 or 4 group pages that we have as Future Home, right? So I was kind of rifling through those, and next thing you know, I'm like, hey, Renee got a new cat, right? And, okay, oh, look at that. And holy smokes, oh, look at that. So-and-so said that about the wall. And so-and-so said, yeah, dude, okay, next thing you know, all right? Exactly, 2 hours gone by. I'm like, what the heck just happened, right? Okay, so for me, I removed it from my phone. That way, I'm not at my computer all the time, and I try and check it maybe 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. That's only if I have time to do so. All right, so be the thermostat instead of the thermometer. You know what I mean by that? Okay, a thermostat sets its climate, right? And a thermometer reacts to the climate. Okay, all a thermometer does is react to what's going on around it, right? It's telling us where, around us is 87, all right? So the thermometer goes to 87. Where a thermostat says, around me maybe 87, but I'm going to set the tempo and I want it to be 78, right? So so what if I am in control of my climate, right? As opposed to just reflecting what the climate is saying, all right, or is around me. That's the difference of being a thermometer and a thermostat, all right? Control your finances. We're going to show you how to get, you know what? I've lived on both sides of this. Being in charge of your finances, by the way, money respects you when you respect it. Okay, I've learned that. I used to come from the belief that, you know what, I'm a sales guy. I'll out-earn any budget deficit we have. I'll just go out sell it. All right? Yeah, well, money doesn't like that. And I'm learning that the more I respect it, the more it responds, okay? Same thing with time, same with anything, right? That as I give it the respect it's due and show it that, hey, look, I'm paying attention, as opposed to, I'll check it later, right? And all of a sudden things happen. And I only half joke reading a menu left to right as opposed to right to left. Who's ever read a menu right to left? Okay, you know what that means? What are you hungry for? That. What? You don't like Brussels sprouts? I do tonight, all right? They're $2.99, all right, okay? Okay, so how about reading on the left side saying, what am I hungry for, right? If you're going to go out to dinner, what am I hungry for? And regardless of the price, that's what I'm hungry for. Not, I'm hungry for the cheapest thing, right? Because I've just been getting charged, right? If I get my stuff in order, then it's just a much better way to live, right? It's freer, much more freeing. About discovering your purpose in life, like we talked about before, it's not about selling real estate. okay, about doing something that's going to really affect change, right? That's something that you could just, that drives you, that makes you throw back the covers and say, I can't wait to get up, right? And some of that can be real estate. I enjoy real estate, man. When I was selling it, I loved the thrill of the hunt, right? I really did. I was going to go find something for somebody. I love the thrill of helping someone change their whole financial position in life, right? Based upon me helping them, because I'm a firm believer, and it's in my core, that the first step to wealth building is home ownership. And we get to help people with that. And when you get that in your core, it can't be stopped, right? You are just going to go on the attack until you find what's right for that person. Especially if you have, now here at Future Home, we teach being real estate consultants as opposed to real estate salespeople, right? A consultant's going to help you, and sometimes I consulted people out of buying homes, right? And so what does that mean? So you know what? Probably it's not the right time. We could probably, the lender did, financial gymnastics and got you qualified, okay? But I'm not so sure that you're going to be, you're going to eat rice and beans for the next 10 years. Do you really want that, right? Are we putting yourself in a position, setting you up? How about let's back it down? I know they got you qualified for 280. What if we got you in for something in 180, right? You're a young family just getting started. Have some breathing room, right? Now, I'm talking myself out of a $3,000 potential, $100,000 difference, 3%, $3,000 different paycheck, but I'm doing the right thing. And when I do the right thing enough times, it comes roaring back at me. You're going to learn, one of the things we're going to teach, you go give value with a garden hose, and it comes rushing back at you with a fire hose. All right? You go give value with a small little bit, and it comes roaring back at you in multiple, a lot. All right? Okay? Cool. How about creating residual income from the business? This is something unique, all right? Most real estate training doesn't teach this. I'm going to show you how to actually think about, how about this? Think, who's newer in the business, right? Newer in the business, like just passed the test on Friday, newer in the business, all right? That's okay. We love that around here, all right? The reason we love it is because you don't have any bad habits yet, all right? All these ones that have been in real estate forever, I got to break their bad habits before I can teach them new. You're just like, hey, look, here's you, I'm good, I'm in, right? So, newer in the business, what if you had started your business right now with the vision that you're going to sell it 20 years from now? And actually sell it. Most real estate agents have, that's beyond they just want to survive the year, right? If I can pay my bills, right, and get enough, and if I can have enough to pay that MLS fee next year, I'm good, right? Okay, that's what they're looking at, bare survival. But instead, I want to attack it. I'm going to start building my business that has systems, things in place that 20 years from now, I'm starting with the end in mind. Covey talks about it, all right, in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about start with the end in mind. Part of the start with the end in mind says that if I can vision where I want to end up, I'm going to live today so that I can end up 20, 30, whatever years it is, there, right? And so when I start here and start with that vision, I'm already picturing myself sitting at the closing table with a business that is generating $600,000 a year, right? In net operating income, cranking along, and someone's willing to pay me a 10x figure of that and willing to pay me $6 million for that $600,000 a year business, right? So if you start there and picture that, then every decision you make should be measured against that decision, right? Now, Covey, in his book, it's a lot deeper than that. Because his start with the end in mind, he makes you write 4 eulogies, right? Okay, yeah, gross, huh? Right? Kind of morbid, right? But what he's talking about is, I want you to write a eulogy from your spouse, from your kids, from a coworker, and a friend, right? How do I want to end? How do I want these people to talk about me at my death? Because if I want to end there, I better start living now so I end there. Fair enough, right? So that's how we want to do these things, is start to think about this, right? Why not? People do it all the time, right? Real estate agents are just terrible. They're just trying to survive the year. They have no long-term vision, all right? We're going to teach you how to do that. This is simple?
I got it.
Yeah, you do. All right? At least Renee does, so that's good. All right, good job, Renee. All right, this is simple.
I got it.
Yeah, more than Renee. Good job. Perfect. Okay, so how are we going to do it? Here's what we're going to do. As a former teacher, you would love me as a teacher. I'm going to tell you to cheat.
Yes.
Right? Love that. All right? Cheat. What do you mean cheat? We're going to copy. right? Don't copy anybody else's work. I'm telling you, copy other people's work, but copy the right people's work, right? Don't copy the wrong people. Don't copy the dude who's, the burnout. It's like, look out, he got a 62 and you got a 62. Yeah, what do you think? All right? If you're going to copy someone, do the nerdy dude with the glasses, all right? Copy that guy's stuff, all right? So we're going to study people that have done what we're attempting to do and have done it successfully, right? We're not going to reinvent the wheel. Let's just follow what they've done. Fair enough? All right? It's out there. Information's there. Why not cheat and just do it? Okay? Nothing to reinvent. By the way, there's nothing to reinvent anyway. Brian's going to teach you about some of this stuff that's coming along and all these kind of things. And my only pushback to Brian is going to be, hey, you know what? What you call new in the marketplace, I call old, or reinvention of the same, right? Brian says, here it comes, offer pad, and what are those other things? Yeah, open door and all those things. Oh my God, what are we going to do? I don't know. How about 1994? List with me and I'll sell your house in 30 days or I'll buy it myself. Same thing, right? Just in a repackaged, different way. Yeah, there's more corporate money behind it, and they have fancier apps to help you do it, and they've got this thing where all of a sudden everybody has a lockbox key because they grant you access, isn't that what Open Door does? Okay, really cool, right? No different. Someone's willing to pay X amount of money today for the ease of not having to go through the listing process, right? I get it. Perfect. It's been around, all right? Always will be around. It'll be around again. It'll call Door Open 10 years from now. All right, okay, instead of Open Door. All right, it's just, and that's okay, and we need to be aware of it. I'm not saying that at all, but don't freak out, right? Just adjust, right? That's what we do. When the market shifts, that's why, God bless, Gary Keller, and he's got a big following, right, of Keller Williams, good guy, but to write a book called Shift, right? When he bought it, when he wrote that back when the market turned down, he wrote a book called Shift. I could have written a book that said, hey, the tide's going to go in and the tide's going to go out. Yeah, markets shift. Okay, we won the Revolutionary War. What else? Tell me something I don't know. All right, markets shift. Everybody understand that? Okay, it's called the business cycle. Everybody understand what a cycle means? Cycle comes from the Latin root circum, right? That means a circle. That's like, hey, it just happens. So here's I'm going to write a book that says, fall follows summer. Okay? There's genius, right? Will you buy it? All right? It's like, come on, right? Yes, of course things are cyclical, right? Of course things shift. How do we react to that shift is what we're going to talk about, right? And what do we do? All right? So we're going to cheat. All right? We're going to learn from others in the room. That means not only are we going to cheat from other people, but inside this very room. All right? People that do business in Texas are going to have a life experience than other people that do business in other parts of the country, or the way they did it in Germany, or whatever the case. And we can learn from each other, right? And so the cool thing is the group dynamic starts to come together, and we learn from each other. And the reality is what this person's experience and their answer they give today is the answer they get tomorrow. Because we live in an abundance mentality that, quite frankly, all right, the people that do business with Renee, all right, and the people that do business with Margot are totally different. Those Venn diagrams, here's the math teacher in me, right? Remember the Venn diagram, the circles, right? And they overconnect, the people, when they connect. Okay, Renee's business, Margot's business, if they do intersect at all and there's any crossover, it's such a small sliver, it doesn't matter, right? And it's not because they're different, it's just the way things are, right? There's plenty of business for us all, because remember, 90% are not doing anything, okay? There's plenty of business for us all. All right. We're going to submit to the law of the harvest. We already talked about that. By the way, we throw in the little red hen. Brian, did you read that last night?
Not yet.
Come on, dude. Pull it up. It is a short book, man. Okay? Okay. That's right. It does have pictures. You can pull it up on your phone right now. So here's the little, you guys read a little red hen to your kids? Right? Who will help me plant the seeds? Not I, barked the dog. Not I, meowed the cat. All right? Not I, mooed the cow. Right? I guess a cow would be female voice, really, the bull. All right, okay, all right, okay. So as we go through, but it goes, and then who will help me weed the garden? Who will help me pick the wheat? Who will help me grind the wheat? Who will help me sift the flour? Who will help me add the ingredients? Who they're making, the little red hens making bread. Everywhere, every step along the way. No, not I. I got things to do. I got Law and Order to watch. I got other things to, I've got, Vikings to watch on Netflix. I've got whatever's going on, right? The next thing we know, out comes the bread, little red hen walking through, and everybody's all in now, right? Who will help me eat the bread? I will bark the dog. I will meow the cat, right? They're all want in now. Okay, welcome to my relatives, by the way. All right? I come walking out with the bread, all right? And there's a reason why they call money bread, dough, all right? Let's date ourselves. Remember when money was called dough? Give me some dough, all right? All right, okay? But when the little red hen comes walking out, who will help me? And they're all in now, right? Okay, little red hen says, sorry, bread is for those who are willing to do the work. The little red hen was teaching us the law of the harvest, right? That's all they're saying is that if you do the work, you'll get to the reward, right? Which is all, by the way, read Proverbs for a while. It's all in it, okay? It's all Proverbs says. Hey, look, you know what? Don't be a fool, all right? Fools despise discipline. Okay, we'll talk about discipline later. That's accountability, right? Fools despise discipline. And if you work, you're going to eat. And if you don't, you shouldn't, all right? It's pretty much what it says, all right? So don't think the little red hen really was that creative either. All they did was repeating the Bible, all right? We're going to learn from our mistakes, which implies that we are allowed to make mistakes. Nothing wrong with that, right? The only people who make no mistakes in real estate are people who do no bid, that 20% that did zero, all right, okay? All right, had zero E&O claims. All right, that's the good news about that segment of the group, all right? Zero E&O claims because they didn't do any business, right? I walk through the office sometimes. How's it going? Great. Any problems with your deals? None. How many deals you got? None. Right? Okay? We go back to Proverbs. One of my favorite Proverbs is, where there are no oxen, the stable is clean. Right? It's in there. Read it. Look it up somewhere. It's Proverbs 19 something, or it's around, right? Here's the deal. When Solomon wrote that proverb back in Babylonian times, to have oxen meant wealth, right? And so what he's saying is, hey, look, if you got no oxen, you got clean stables, but you got nothing happening, right? You got no wealth. So an only way to have things happening is to have sometimes some stuff coming out the backside, if you will, all right? And you're going to have some messy stables. That's okay. And we've taught this for years, and there are times when I'll get texts from agents, hey, Bob, I need you to call me right away. I got a messy stable. All right, okay, all right. The stable's getting a little dirty here, all right. And what we know that's code word for, hey, got a little bit of an issue, but that's okay, all right, and we'll get it cleaned up, all right. And so that is mantra for us, but that's okay to make mistakes. Now, if you're a future home agent, I'm not telling you to go out there and be blatantly an idiot, all right, okay. That's not what I'm saying, all right, because Jim has to deal with all those problems, right, Jim? Yeah, okay, all right. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is, if you are legitimate in your business desires and making good decisions, and sometimes you forget to do something. Now, a lot of the times, I'm going to go back to that first slide that says, hey, look, you are where you are because of choices you made, all right? You promised the buyer the refrigerator would be included, and you forgot to include the refrigerator, all right? Okay, buy a couple refrigerators and you'll remember next time, all right? Seriously, done there, been there, done that, right? All right, and that's how we learn best. People say, oh, man, I think I blew it, Bob. Said, okay, what happened? Da-da-da-da. Okay, great. Yeah, it's probably going to cost me. I said, is it going to cost you money? Uh-huh. I said, good, because you remember. If you got away for free, we don't remember, right? It's just human nature, right? Human nature says, hey, look, if I don't suffer the repercussion of my action, my mind will tell me that action was okay, right? That's why, Joseph, when I'm encouraging him on his Sunday night ritual, sometimes we're a little bit of carrot and a little bit of stick, right? You guys don't understand carrot, when you're enticing someone with the carrot, and there's also another way to get people to do stuff is just whip them on the backside with the stick, right? And sometimes you need a little bit of both. And Joseph sometimes, hey, Dad, a little more carrot, a little less stick. All right, okay? All right, and that's okay, but we got to find balance between those two, all right? Fair enough? All right, so we're going to learn from our mistakes. We're going to grow personally. Now, here's a big one for me, is that I'm going to show you a way that you're going to learn to attract business as opposed to chase it, right? Because nobody wants to chase business because you don't want to be chased when you're on the other side of that transaction, right? So I'd rather have people coming to me, asking me to help them sell real estate than me trying to convince them to use me. Are you with me, right? But in order to do that, in order to attract people, I got to be attractive, right? And when I say that, it's a holistic approach to attractiveness. Right? That I'm going to show you what we call 4 LYs lead us to the 5th LY. All right? I'm going to show you or encourage you to grow in 4 areas, and the 5th one comes as a byproduct. All right? So we're going to grow spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, physically, right? So those are the 4 LYs, in all those 4 areas. And when you do that, the sum total of that growth is going to be equal to your growth financially. Financially comes as the last one, and it's a byproduct of the other 4 areas. So if I can focus on becoming a better person, spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, and physically, then my financial success is almost a foregone conclusion. All right? That's the recipe. That as I grow in these areas. Now, are there techniques? Yes. But by the way, I have no magic pill. If you came looking for the script, all right, that if I could just learn to say this, all right, with the right, and get a billboard that has me like this, with the jacket thrown over, all right, and a little gleam coming off my tooth, ding, whatever that is, that you've seen them, right? They're out there. Let's go drive down Ulmerich, and I'm sure we'll find one, all right? It's either an attorney or a real estate agent, right? Okay, so here, all right, saying, oh, that one didn't work, so let's try this side. All right, let's redo our billboard, all right? Okay, it has nothing to do with that. There is no magic pill. All right, well, I'm just going to show you how to be a good person, right? And attract people. All right, it's a better way to live anyway, right? So we're going to focus on these areas. All right, we're going to feed off the synergy in the room, which is cool. We're going to stop, making, excuses, Stop it. All right? We don't want to hear it. We are not going to. In the book, you guys, read the book, the first book we're going to read is called 7 Levels of Communication. It's not 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. A lot of 7s around here. All right? But it's 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. But in that, it's just a story of a guy going through real estate training, and his coach, anybody remember his favorite term when he tried to give him an excuse? Cockamamie. Yeah, that's it, all right? It's cockamamie, all right? So when he tried to but if you knew what I had to go through, gallbladder surgery, okay. I get it, stuff happens, right? But what you want is you want to find an accountability partner who's not going to listen to your excuses, right? Because you want an accountability partner who's going to say, hey, Tanya, all right, when we had that discussion, you didn't say you were going to do A, B, and C if, and only if, your kids didn't get strep throat, somebody else didn't come down with this, your son didn't pull a hamstring during his 3,200-meter run, all these things. Okay, all that happens, and life happens sometimes, right? You didn't say you were going to do this A, B, and C only if, when you got on US 19 and drove south in the morning, that it was traffic-free. Okay? We're not going to set up any parameters around our goals, right? The thing is I'm going to succeed no matter what, period. All right? Sometimes we have to work a little harder because things do come up, right? They get in our way. If they do, they're just hurdles trying to keep you from that, and it's a test, in my opinion. Are you going to plow through? You're going to make it happen. We're going to live in accountability. We just talked about that. We're going to turn off the television and remove Facebook from our phone. Okay? That's by the way, there's nothing. I'm not going to come and check you. All right? All right? I'm just making some suggestions for you. Differences you can make in your life to try and get your life back. We're going to live a disciplined life because there's freedom and structure. What does that mean? Okay? The more structured I become, the freer I become. Think about it, it makes complete sense. On the surface, you don't want to dig, it's like, what? The more structured I become, the freer. Yeah, you know what? How about this? What if you lived every day like it was the day before your vacation trip? Wouldn't you? Right? Because you get stuff done. Right? Day before you got a flight tomorrow at 9 a.m. leaving Tampa International. Right? Today, you actually make a list. It's the one time you make a list for the year. Right? Okay? You make a to-do list and you go through life and you start checking it off. Bam. Bam. Dog to the kennel. Boom. Pick up dry cleaning. Boom. All that stuff you need to do. Pack the kids, make sure we get all the advanced homework for the week. Bam. All the stuff because guess what? You're not around to do it tomorrow, right? What if we lived every day that way, right? I guarantee this, if you lived every day that way, by 10 a.m. you'd be done with what took you all day yesterday. You say, I can't find the time. Well, let me look at your calendar, all right? Or let me follow you around for a day. Anybody that teaches financial peace, like at Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University and those kind of things, one of the first things he has you do is what? Write down every penny you spend. Track it, because we can't fix what you don't know about, right? Want to lose weight? Write down every calorie you eat, period, all right? We have to find out what's going on here so we can make adjustments, right? Same thing, I'm just telling you, if you start to track your days and do this on your calendar and your time, be way freer. It's an amazing feeling, right? Actually implement this time. Quit talking about it. I am tired of hearing you say that this is the year. I am. Okay? And you should be tired of it as well. Right? By the way, I'm teaching this to myself. I wish there were a mirror in the back because I would have. Remember, Brian, who's that dude that we used to use as that training room behind your office?
Oh, yeah. Garage.
Yeah, right, okay. Because he was like an MMA fighter or something like that, right? So he let us borrow his stuff, and literally it smelled like a gym. It's like, we're going to training, right? So we're teaching Hunter in a gym. But it was great because there were mirrors in the back, right? And I was reminding myself that I'm just teaching myself, right? Plus I could go and do a little speed bag in between, bullet points. It was awesome, all right? It was kind of fun. All right, so, but we're going to actually do it this time. Stop talking about it, all right? Aren't you tired of hearing yourself say, this is it? I mean, really? I mean, if you're honest, aren't you tired of just like, dadgummit? All right? My mom went to her grave when I was 38, right? She went to her grave blaming the 30 pounds she was overweight on me, and I was her last born child. Oh, it's that baby weight. Yeah. I was like, 38 years, Mom? I think there's, where's the statute of limitations on this, right? Okay, when does this go away? That no longer are you allowed to blame, me, your youngest child, for your baby weight. All right, okay, that's it. That's it. See, how old is 21, right?
21.
Oh, you better watch out. I met somebody who's 20 the other day. Okay, you can't go backwards.
I can't go back.
Okay, all right. Actually implement this time, all right? Trust the process and use quality ingredients. I'm going to tell you, we talk about, I think this is a newer one, Marley Spoon. Marley Spoon is, anybody know what Marley Spoon is? Have you ever done
I
it?
got it from you.
Oh, did you? Perfect. Awesome.
I ordered it. Yeah.
Have you had one yet?
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good.
Okay. It's like Blue Apron or HelloFresh, but it's done by Martha Stewart.
Right.
So it's a little higher end, right? Probably a little more expensive. I haven't priced them out, but I'm just telling you.
It's easy.
It is easy, right? And
you even have food left over.
it's portions. I mean, the amount of food is great, right? And it is, I am telling you, I think it's better than restaurant quality. Okay?
The meats are great.
Yeah, the freshness of all the ingredients, all the stuff comes in a box, you put it in the fridge, when Jeanette and I have discovered it, and it's incredible, right? It's healthier because I can control the sodium count and all these kind of things. Tastes phenomenal. I'm doing things that I never knew. I never knew how to zest a lemon. What's zesting a lemon, right? Okay. I'm adding this. What does that do, right? Why that little, an eighth of a teaspoon? What in the world difference could that make? And all I do is I smell it first, put it in, and then I'm eating it. Said all I taste is that. So an eighth of a teaspoon does make a difference, right? It's just amazing, right? But I'm not a chef by any stretch, but I can follow a recipe. I'm not asking you to be a chef in your real estate business. I'm just telling you to follow the recipe. All right? Trust the process, follow the recipe. We'll see if we can get little even cards made up, all right? We'll get little because there's usually 6 steps in each one.
Yeah, in little brown bags.
Yeah, little brown bags, and they're fresh, and it's just amazing, right? It's great stuff. You get a chance to check it out. If you're looking for good quality, I'm talking apricot-infused pork chops, right? And I was like, me? I can never make that. No, but I could follow a stinking recipe, right? Come on, all right? And I did, and now I am wearing a chef's hat, thinking I'm chopping things, all right? Thinking I'm all that in a 6-pack and a bag of chips, all right? Because getting it done. All right, so, and we're going to do this. We promise to consistently evaluate progress. What does that mean? It means we're not going to set a goal and not check it. Okay? I know realtors like nobody else. You guys are really good at setting goals, especially around January 1, something about that, all right? I'm going to set that goal, and here we go, and I'm going to attack it this year, and you put it away, and you don't even pay attention to it again, all right, until late November, early December, if you're lucky. Most of you are like mid-December, right? You just got back from your 8th Christmas party, and you're like, let me check out and see how I'm doing. Hey, I'm supposed to sell 30 homes this year. Where am I? I sold 7. See, today's the 16th of December. It means I get 15 days to sell 23. Okay, too late. Can't do it, right? But if I had reverse engineered, started with the end in mind, broken it down to what I'm going to do each week and each day, then I can measure against that. Because here's what I know. If you want to win the year, all right, of 2019, then you better have started to win quarter 1 of 2019. And if you want to win quarter one of 2019, you better have won January of 2019. And if you want to win January of 2019, which is too late to win it now, but you better have won the first week of January of 2019. And if you want to win the first week of January 2019, you better have won January 1 of 2019. Because if you win enough days, you win enough weeks. You win enough weeks, you win enough months. You win enough months, you win enough quarters. You win enough quarters, you win enough years. Put that in front of a hashtag behind all that. All right, that's a long one, okay? But it's so true, because the reality is, win the day, right? You want to win the year? Win the day. Break it down, let's win the hour, right? I'm going to control and I'm going to win the moment I'm in, because if I win enough moments, I'm going to win the overall war, right? Fair enough? Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to measure check our progress. We love to show this slide. You guys have seen it a lot. Okay, trip to the moon, all it means is this, all right? We have this perception that a trip to the moon looks like that, all right? Nice, smooth, they just, ooh, that was easy, right? Reality is this. If I took this box and represented a 5-second portion of that trip and I magnified it 10,000 times, that's what it really looks like, right? They're constantly making adjustments. They know they can't get too far off track because they won't make it, all right? They're just, right? And that's what we need to do with ourselves. I need to check. We call it a Sunday night ritual. At least once a week, we're going to teach you how to measure up against what you're doing, what you did, how it measures against what you wanted to do, and what type of adjustments you need to make for the coming week to make sure you get back on track, right? If I have a goal of X and I only did 80% of X this week, then I find myself here, and therefore I know I need 120% of X to be back on track, right? Because 120 plus 80 is 200 divided by 2. Now I'm back on track, right? Whereas if I wait too long, let me ask you this. Is it easier to lose 2 pounds or 20 pounds? 2, right? Problem is we don't catch ourselves at 2. We put our head in the sand and say, oh, somebody must have put these pants in the dryer, all right? They weren't supposed to go in the dryer. These pants have shrunk a little bit. Well, pants are the same size. What's going in the pants has grown, all right? Okay, so as much as we try and admit it, all right, or try and fool ourselves, but the reality is when we step on the scale on a daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is basis, right, I can sit there and say, hey, look, you know what? I need to make some adjustments. I have not earned the right to have the donut today, all right? This is the way it is, all right? Like it or not, scales don't lie. All right, so I'm going to teach you 2 techniques. By the way, I don't think I covered this. I covered it last night. Let's go to here. Many ways to do the real estate business. I'm going to help you find your way, right? Because when I help you find your way, the way that works for you, that you feel good about doing, guess what? The odds of you doing it go way up, right? If I'm going to try and shove something down your throat, like today's expired calling day, all right, let's smile and dial. Here we go. All right, bang those phones. And you're like, I don't like that. And I don't blame you. I wouldn't like it either. All right, you're not going to do it. Right. So those of you who've been to Bold at KW, right, and they make you today's expired, tomorrow's FSBOs, and we're just going to smile and dial, and here we go. Right, shove it down your throat, and 98% of the people are underneath their table in a fetal position, sucking their thumb. Right. And if the person who's teaching the class walks by, they're talking to their sister-in-law, hey, pretend like you're a for sale by owner, all right? Okay? Because I don't want to get in trouble, because I paid $800, and I don't want to be kicked out of this class, all right? It's a bunch of malarkey, all right? This one's being recorded, so we clean this one way. By the way, this one's being recorded, Brian, so, all right, okay, I got it. All right, perfect. All right, so you'll do the PG version of the class, right? So it just doesn't work, right? Okay, so what if we found what you excited that you actually would throw the covers back and say, I can't wait to go to work today? Then the chances of you doing it are good, right? So we're going to help, and there are many ways, and what's different for everybody is different for everybody. Let's help you find that. I'm going to show you 2 different methods, right? These are kind of these aren't specifics, these are kind of overall global perspectives, right? We're going to attack it, okay, let's go back to our law of the harvest. We're going to stay on that theme. We're going to attack 2 systems. One system is what we call corn planting. And the reason it's called corn planting because it's fast. Right? Have you ever planted corn? Anybody? I have. Okay, Tennessee, it's amazing. Plant corn late May, early June. You're eating corn by late July, early August. From seed to table, all right? It's amazing. It pops out of the ground. It's almost like Jack and the Beanstalk kind of moment. You're going to watch it grow, right? Starts to grow, next thing, and something pops out, and these are ears of corn. You watch them, and then pretty soon, you're like, wow, that's kind of cool, right? All right? So that's all good. That's the good news about corn. It's fast. The sow to reap cycle is about a 60-day process, right? Bad news about corn is you chop it down to eat it, meaning it's an annual, not a perennial, and never stays done. It would be a never-ending work source, right? It can pay well. Don't get me wrong. I built my whole business planting corn, and it paid well, but it never stayed done. I had to do it and redo it and redo it and redo it. So I'm going to teach you two methods. I'm going to show you some corn because some of you are coming in today and say, hey, Bob, I need a commission yesterday. Okay? Like I need to get going now. And if I'm here to tell you, if you will do what I'm about to teach you right here, all right, the next time we meet in 2 weeks, you could have new business that you don't have right now with people who don't know who you are right now completely. All right? I know because I did it. All right? And what we teach is this. This is simple. Yeah, you do. We're going to do things backwards. Everybody else, if you went to another training, they would teach you this. If you're going to last in this business, you better list. Because you list so that you get your buyers. Okay? Fair enough assumption. All right? Problem is, Dylan, how long you been in the business?
7 months.
7 months, all right? And you got a, somehow you found a friend of a sister of a brother of an uncle that's selling their house on Coffee Pot, all right? And you get a chance to be one of those 5 that are going to go in there and interview for that listing job, all right? You want the truth? You want good news, bad news, or the truth? What do you want? Truth?
Bad news. Let's go bad news.
Okay, bad news. The truth is bad news, all right? So that's good, all right? You're not going to get that listing. Seriously, right? If he's one of 5, and they might like Dylan the best, but quite frankly, Coffee Pot, what are we talking? There's usually a point in the price. Yep. Okay, probably looking, you're north of, you're in the 7 figures, right? And hey, look, I might like you a whole lot if I own the home on Coffee Pot, but quite frankly, 6% of 1.2 is a lot of jack. Okay, whether you believe it or not, mind the math tells me that it's $72,000 because I know how to multiply by 6 and 3. Trust me. All right, okay, and it's $72,000. And if I'm going to trust that or pay somebody $72,000, it's probably not going to be the guy with 7 months experience and 21 years old. Unfortunately, sorry, Dylan. Yep. I wish it were you. But this other dude walked in, or gal walked in, and she laid this report in that she sells 42% of the homes that sell in Coffee Pot, right? Out of all the realtors in the world, she sells, you know what I mean? And so I'm going to go with her. Appreciate it. Good luck to you. I hope your career works well. Great. Okay?
I know who she is.
Oh, do you? Okay, all right. Well, and there is somebody in every one of those areas, right? And unless you're that person, and by the way, if I were that person, I'd slam that report down too. Mm-hmm. I'd say, hey, look, who are you going to use? It's up to you. Want to use a schlup or you want to use me? All right? I'd be saying that, well, that's rude. I say, wait, you what? Make the nut. You mean it is what it is, right? Okay. So people out there telling, hey, go get listings, Dylan. It's like, okay, great. How? You go get your Christmas list out and write cards, right? And at the end of the Christmas list, make sure you add, by the way, if you and anybody know looking to buy or sell real estate, I really appreciate the referral. Okay? Whatever they teach. And on the back of your card, the sincerest form of flattery I could ever receive, don't hide your cards from me now, all right? Is a referral from a trusted source. Okay, forget that mess, right? You got to go earn the right to get the introduction. We're going to show Dylan how to do that later. So instead, for us, we're going to do things backwards. We're going to work with buyers. We're going to show Dylan how his buyers are going to lead him to his listings, right? Because if you want business today, fast, now, right, buyers is it. What? I thought, okay, don't get me wrong, can listings sell? Yeah, and are listings selling pretty fast? Yes. Slower than they were last month? Yes, right? But is it a good thing to have a listing? Absolutely. The problem is getting the frickin' thing. Oh, stinking thing, right? Okay, is getting the listing to begin with. And if you're newer in the business or even you're existing in the business, there's high competition for that, especially if you're not the 42% market share person, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to show Dylan how to go get buyers, right? And after we get buyers, he's going to do that through traffic generating events, all right? We got ideas for that. What does that mean? Here's a traffic generating event, an opportunity to get eyeball to eyeball with somebody, okay? I'm in front of them, they're in front of me. It's not me on a picture on a pixel on a computer. It's me flesh to flesh, face to face. We're going to talk about face to face, eyeball to eyeball opportunities, right? Because they work. Now, we teach a lot of this. Why? Because I increase my number of people coming through. I'm a math guy. I learned this early in my real estate career, like the second weekend of the business. That first weekend, I met 3 people at an open house. The next weekend, I met 36 people at an open house. right? Okay, which one was better? Well, the first one was better if you looked at it. It was a $320,000 listing. The second one was a bank-owned $72,000 POS. You put that together, piece of home, all right? It smelled like dog, had fleas, and had foul words written on the bathroom wall. Okay, other than that, right? Exactly, right? But I'm at 36 people coming through, right? My probability and statistics class tells me 36 people in one day as opposed to 3 people in 2 days, my chances are greater at this, okay? I'm just looking for, if you got a way to get in front of people, awesome, right? If not, we're gonna show you how to do some of this so you can get in front of people. But then, once you get in front of them, here's what I'm learning. You guys are struggling with this, right? I'm showing you how to get in front of people. The thing I can't do is be there with each one of you and show you how to do this. So what we're gonna do is this session, this strategized, is gonna be these sessions coming up, heavily focused on getting people committed to you, right? And I'm gonna show you dialogue, and it's gonna take some mindset change, it's gonna take some learning. And Brian, you wanna come up now? We're gonna lean heavily on Brian Heckman, because Brian Heckman has some techniques that are specific to converting people into new business, all right? And Brian, he said, you're gonna swear, we're gonna set the timer?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, awesome. Okay, oh yeah.
It's going to be on our Future Home Realty.
It'll be on the Future Home Realty site yes, on the FHR University. Yep, under the 100K sessions. So it will be there. So let me pull Brian's PowerPoint up for him.
What are you doing, Brian? You look good. You lost
I look good? I lost weight? I'm training for an Ironman triathlon.
Look at that, see? Physically,
For real. For real.
emotionally,
That's over there?
intellectually, spiritually.
Physically. I ran a 5K this morning.
See?
I'm still kind of sweating, you know? I'm actually not. I'm actually not. While everyone was sleeping, I was running a 5K, yeah. I actually paid for it, so I'm really doing it now.
That's right, exactly. So you have
It's different when you pay
That's
for
right,
it.
exactly.
I was, full disclosure, I was drinking wine with a buddy of mine who's run like 8 of these things. My wife and his wife were talking, and then me and Tom were talking, and Tom's been talking about this for years. You can do it, man, you can do it. Well, when's the next one? He's like, oh, it's 18 months out. I was like, oh, that's cool, I got like 18 months, cheers, yay, awesome. And then that was Tuesday, that Friday we were on a friend's front porch, and my wife's like, well, why don't you tell all of our friends what you're gonna do? I was like, oh, I'm gonna run an Ironman. And literally my other buddy, Mike, across the way, literally belly laughed. No, you can't do that. And I was like, oh. And Tom, ironically, had just come by, and he was sitting next to me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he's like, I bet you $100 you won't do it. I was like, oh, in front of everybody. I was like, fine.
Your manhood.
So thanks to Mike. Okay, so
Full marathon, like full Ironman.
so it's a 2.4 mile swim, I think, and then a 112 mile bike ride, and then a marathon.
That's a full Ironman. This morning he did that? No, he did a 5K this morning. That's a lot different. Right?
Yeah, 3.2 miles. Yeah, so Tom calls me yesterday. Hey man, how's it going? We got to get you out of the drink, man. I'm like, with the drink? He's like, the water. We got to get you out of the water, because like you don't want to be able to like have to get yanked out of the water on like somebody on a boat. I was like, that happens? Oh yeah.
You are not allowed to drown at an Ironman.
Like what? He's like, you'll get off the bike. You can crawl across the finish line. I don't care about the run. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Okay, so I love all this stuff. So I sat here last night, and it's like I've been doing in the mortgage business for 17 and a half, almost 18 years now, and I love it because it's all the basics. Hi. And what I want you guys to know is that our industry, your side of the industry, is going to be commoditized like it never has before. So someone will always do it cheaper. Always, right? So it's not, and the problem is now, it's not someone will do it for 5.5% or they'll do a listing for 5%. It's like they'll do it for like $500. And so Bob and I didn't really dialogue on like his presentation versus my little piece of this thing. But I think the root of it is, if you will write this down on your own piece of paper, it's what we say is all that matters right now. So, and I don't have time to go through my whole background and story, but we spent a ton of time the last 2 years trying to get to the consumers first. Just full transparency, we found out last year in referring out more than $3 million in closings, not leads, not names and phone numbers, not referrals, but closings to real estate agents. And what we found is, well, doggone, you've been in the business for how long?
7 months.
7 months. Have you ever had a lender call you and ask you for business? Yeah?
Daily.
Who's had a lender call and ask them for business in the last, say, month?
Yeah.
Watch this. You're not interested, you're not interested, you're not interested because we're annoying, but when I call you or I text you, hey, I have a $200,000 buyer that's looking to make an offer this weekend on this property, who's gonna pick the phone up for me? Oh, it's very different. So but here's the whole thing, like I've always built my business around realtors, and so realtors and past clients, and so that's why all this stuff just fits. It's all about conversion, it's all about what you say. It doesn't matter where you say it. I'm gonna give you lots of different options and stuff like that, hopefully over time, but it's all about what we say, okay? So, we're gonna talk about commoditization. Everyone is a Zillow lead. This is a new mindset we have to have. Everyone's a Zillow lead, and then vultures versus peacocks, okay? So if you'll write down this, artificial intelligence, we can't compete with Zillow and Realtor.com with AI because we're small businesses. We can't compete with them, but we can if we start to take like minor notes down and track some of our stuff with our clients, okay? So this is where it's getting really interesting in the market. We've never before seen the commoditization of the realtor combined with the technology that's happening and the AI that's happening out there. So 100% right. Like Buy Owner. Buy Owner didn't put y'all out of business. No. LendingTree didn't put us out of business. Is very, very different in how our margins are now, though. And so these companies are coming aggressively into your space. They will put some realtors out of business. But it sounds like there's also some realtors that are borderline out of the business based on what Bob shared in NAR that are making no money, okay? So there's huge opportunities just in how you communicate, how you can discredit your competition professionally, subtly, but emphatically, right? Because just the statistics right there. And then you have like these guys, right? And hey, like it is what it is, right? I love the business plan.
He was trying to take your business.
No problem.
Now when he's jumping into ours, all right?
It's a problem. It's a problem. Yeah. So like here's my thing. It's okay because we can do no closing costs too, but there's a cost because no one's working for free out here. Radio ads and TV ads aren't free, right? So and then I kind of joke about this, but not like we all might work for Amazon and Costco one day. I mean, it's that crazy, the intel and the distribution channels that they have. So like our battle and kind of what's changed for me in my mindset, I was in a very high level coaching group specific to my industry. And when I moved back to like be on the streets and in the trenches, right? It's like, man, I don't have to close 40 units a month to make money. You know what I'm saying? And so from you guys, it's like, man, just close 1 unit a month and like there's bacon. And apparently, according to our stats, you'd be like, better than 50% of your competition, all right? So one thing I want you to write down, market share. Holy cow, there's some amazing data. If you guys, would it be helpful instead of being the, hey, it's a great time to buy. Who says it's a great time to buy right now? I would. Is it a great time to buy or no?
It's a great time to buy anytime.
So who would say it's a great time to sell right now?
Sure.
I would say it's a great time to sell too.
I'm talking to a buyer or seller.
So yeah, so here's what I'm gonna give you. I wanna give you, like this is where my core comes in. We call it something to talk about, or STTA, right? We have a private group that we created just for this, because here's the most annoying thing that the consumers out there think of your competition as realtors is, man, no matter what, it's always a good time to buy. It's always a good time to sell. Who was in the business in 08, 09? Okay, remember this? We got them into contract, got the appraisal. By the time we got the appraisal back in like a week or two, the house was devalued by 3 to 5%. Was it a good time to buy back then? No. Was it a good time to buy for me to pay my bills and put bread on the table? Yes. But how do you communicate that? It's hard, right? So here's what's really wild about this. When we talk about market share, I want to give you data like this that's going to show you to a potential buyer, why is it a good time to buy? Or to a potential seller, why is it a good time to sell? Because the data is not going to lie. Does that make sense? Yes. And then the biggest piece is how we can discredit your competition. So the best thing would be when you teach a potential prospect, buyer or seller, hey, so when you're going to go and talk with the next realtor that's going to come in and then you're going to interview for your listing, why don't you just ask them, why is it a good time to sell? And just see what they say. And if they so much as hesitate or mumble over their words, body language, right? Man, I'd be careful. So what I'm gonna give you is like statistical data. So I was sitting there, I was flipping through my CEO. He's like a data junkie, And so I saw him, he did this whole presentation on data, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I got all the slides from MBA, from NAR, from like Freddie Mac, and it's like all of the data is amazing. So he's giving me data, I don't have time for it, but it's like I can give you this stuff on like how big the demography is of first-time buyers, of sellers, our market specifically in this demographic, how it's like the affordability index is huge, right? So write down market share. Here's what I just want you to see on here, is that 2019 through 2021 is forecasted to basically be flatlined. So the only way that you are going to meet your goals and repeat what you did last year, does anybody have a goal to at least do what they did last year in real estate?
Oh, at least?
At least do what you did last year? So like, not to be a jerk or like wet blanket, but like, we can be politically correct or we can tell you the truth. So my piece, is it okay if I'm just truthful?
Go.
So the only way that you're gonna do the same amount of deals, and some of you guys, when I say that, you wanna kinda like throw up because you're like, oh man, it was a rough year last year, it was a tough year. The only way you're gonna do that is by taking somebody else's business from them. It's the only way. You have to pick up market share, just like I do, right? Gotta pick up market share. So you gotta keep that in mind because the business will be flatlined. So what percentage of deals would you say in your market is mortgaged versus cash? What percentage is cash deals right now, would you say? Come on.
Maybe 1, 2.
1, 40, 50, 20. It's amazing, isn't it amazing? Everybody has a different thing, right? So let's just take 20%. So the majority are mortgage deals. So this is mortgage data from MBA. So mortgages are about to be flatlined. So basically it's not gonna grow tremendously. And we know, do we have an inventory problem here still? That's not going away this year, is it? I mean, I don't know if builders are coming in building, $150,000 to $200,000 houses. It doesn't look like that. I talked with 2 builders over the weekend. They're like, why would I mess with that crap? There's no profit, right? So it's gonna be flatlined. Okay, another huge, huge, huge thing. Peak home buying years, this is according to Goldman Sachs. So this is data. You're sitting with somebody, a seller, a buyer. I don't have time today, but we show you. Goldman Sachs, they're way smarter than us. Goldman Sachs says the peak home buying years for any buyer is between 25 to 45 years old. So with the millennial demographic, which is gonna be far surpassing boomers in size, huge, huge, huge portion, 33% plus home buyers here in the next several years. Their peak home buying years are 2005 to 2045. So the bad news is we lost out on 13 years. That's already gone. We can't get it back. The great news is though, we have 27 years left. Guys, in one of the most amazing markets, our market right here. We don't want to be in Miami. No offense to the folks in Miami, but like that's a different world down there. Like we have an amazing market. Technology is coming in here. Businesses is flourishing. Sports, if we can just keep the Rays. Maybe. Everybody is a Zillow lead. So please write that down. Everybody you talk to is a Zillow lead, and here's why. If I want to find a great place for lunch, it's like a little Cuban restaurant next door. If I want to go and find a great place for lunch, where would I go on my phone?
Siri.
I would Google. Most of the people are going to Google it, right? Cool. If I'm going to go look for a house, where am I going to go first?
Zillow.
Nope, I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to go to Google, and then I'm going to get to Zillow. Every time I'm going to Zillow. So we do who's paying Zillow right now? Anybody paying Zillow more than 4 figures? Cool, so we have repeatedly have done this class, how to beat Zillow, how to get off of Zillow, how to wean off Zillow, how to stop paying Zillow, all that nonsense, whatever. Zillow actually shut down the class at the other association. After we did it at this association and then up at CPAR, they're like, you can't do this class. We had to change the word. Because Zillow knows that they want your $500, $700, but the big dogs spending 5 figures a month, that's where they're literally gearing their whole business around. And I know because we exited a $3,500 relationship last year, and they're awesome people, it's just there's no ROI, right? It's keep on putting the money in the machine. Basically the AI that they have is Zillow will push them to their app. Once they get on their app, they are not gonna see your $400, no offense. They're not gonna see your $0, they're not gonna see your $75. They're only gonna see, it like boxes out all you guys. It's crazy, I hate it. I mean, I'm sorry, I love Zillow. Zillow's amazing, I love them. But like you're a small business and I'm a small business and here they're gobbling it up and then they keep so stop spending the money. So my business is up like exponentially since I cut off 2 Zillow relationships, $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month. I'm a small business guy. That's directly off my wife and kids' table. Dinner table. Make sense? So I want to help you do that. But everybody.
Spoon, by the way, 5,000. buy a lot of Molly Spoon.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So write this down. Zillow Analytics, last year at their Zillow annual conference, they say the average consumer goes to their website 12 to 18 months prior to making a purchasing decision. It's not that the online leads are terrible. It's that we're communicating the wrong way. We're communicating like they're a hot lead that's ready to go, a hot, warm referral that already know, like, and trust us and are ready to go. They're not. They're looking on Zillow. And by the way, they're also on Realtor. They're also on Real Geeks. They're also on Commissions Inc. They're also on Google Pay-Per-Click. They're also on Facebook. And all of these realtors are hawking them like they're a hot lead. So don't be surprised when they're angry and they don't like you when you call because they're getting pounded with the wrong messages. So my thing would be, go make you a follow-up sequence for at least 24 months. Because if they're 12 to 18 months, then go make a follow-up sequence that's outside of that and communicate with them the right way. And that's my thing. Just how do we communicate is everything, okay? Straight from Zillow Group right here. 47% of leads, according to Zillow Group, they are called 0 times by a salesperson. 24% is called 1 time. These are low quality leads statistically. They are farther out and they're being called 1 time by a salesperson that's paying them money to get that lead. So about 75% of them are being called 1 time max. Crazy! Crazy. Zillow also says they will go back to Zillow 27 times. 27 times they're going back to Zillow. So we have to get them off. You guys have to have like sticky apps where you can get something on their phone that's going to get them to remember you and come to your stuff instead of Zillow, right? We've got some stuff we're going to train you guys on and stuff like that through what Bob has bought into. There's a strategy online, offline, online. So if we meet them online, because we're doing Zillow, right? If we meet them online, we got to get them offline, right? It's like we catch the fish, we got to pull them in the boat. The crazy thing about the way the market is right now with the consumers, we have to just understand, take that hook out, kiss that fish, drop them back in the big blue ocean. And all right, hope I can catch you next time because they're not coming back for 12 to 18 months. So we have to find ways to put more hooks in them to bring them back in when they're ready to go. Make sense? Yes. Okay. Vultures versus peacocks. So if you haven't heard me explain this before, anybody heard me explain this? I'll be fast. Cool. So if we were to be jogging down the street this morning, right, I'm running, and I see some vultures, what am I naturally going to do when I see this?
Go around.
I'm going around it because it's gross. Are there a whole bunch of them or is there just one of them? Are they eating something desirable or nasty? Does it make us feel good or no?
No.
So we're going to move away, right? Now, contrary, we walk outside and we see off in the distance a giant peacock, feathers blown out, green, purple, blue, majestic. What do we do?
Take a selfie.
Take a picture.
Take a picture. And what the heck are you going to do with the picture?
Post it.
Facebook.
You know they stand for prosperity and good luck.
And they're also pretty nasty creatures from what I hear. So sometimes people will be like, I see those over in Dunedin and it's gross. Okay, watch this though. Gross, makes me feel bad, I move away. There's a bunch of them, they're eating roadkill. Stop, notice, take action. And then share it. So that's what we want to do with how we're communicating with customers and how we're just sales psychology today. We want to be a peacock. But then my team started getting me peacock statues and Christmas tree ornaments with a peacock on them. And then it stopped when they were like, hey, let's all get team t-shirts with a peacock on it. And like, peacock's kind of feminine. I'm not exactly feminine. I'm kind of a guy's guy. So it's really a bear trap is what it really is. And the cool thing for me, the symbolism is, that looks like it kind of hurts. And it looks like if I put my foot in there, I'm not going to get out of it. And I had one realtor, fourth quarter, be like, that's kind of aggressive. Oh yeah, it's aggressive. Because what's the only way that we can just meet what we did last year in production? What's the only way we can do that? We got to take somebody else's market share. How are we going to, I want to double my business. I want to, no offense, just happens to be the name of this. I want to make my first $100,000 in real estate. People don't realize you got to get aggressive. You got to get aggressive with what you say, very professionally and compliantly and ethically. But man, we got to take somebody else's lunch, okay? So first goal in real estate, I'm gonna give you 3 goals. First goal in real estate, get them to raise their hands. That's the first thing. If you can get a consumer to raise their hands via text, via Facebook, via their comments, via your phone calls, awesome, get them to raise their hands, right? We want them to be inquiring about something that we're talking with them about, okay? Number 2 is meet them face to face. So the whole goal of raising the hands is to better get them to meet with you face to face. Who does like a freebie showing of somebody that has an 800 credit score and I got $1 million, but I'm not pre-qualified and I'm not going to get pre-qualified yet. I want to see this house for $300,000 down the road, and it's Saturday at 4 o'clock. I want to see the house. Who's going to go show that person a house?
I would.
So I just want to encourage you, sometimes if your goal is to meet them face to face, remove the old school thing of I will not meet until you're pre-approved. Because if you don't, there's already people in the room of people that will. It's just a reason to get face to face with them. Do a freebie showing. Okay, sometimes you're going to have to do that. All right, and then you can lock them down when you're face to face with them with what you say. Okay. The third thing is we're going to show you in the decommoditization of your business, it's all about value, right? So we want to lock people into you, not by handcuffing them, but like what you will realize is you will mentally, they will be handcuffing to you. It's the craziest thing. Guys, I promise you, it works. It works. It's really, really, really powerful. Bob already talked about structure. Everything is about structure. Who has an intake script? Like a script, hold on, that is bullet pointed, that performs at an 8 or a 9 out of 10 in results every time, that is reliable, that is predictable, that is profitable? Who would have that? Like, hey, I get a lead from somebody, a referral, follow the same process, same things every time. Who would say that, 8 or a 9? Who would say they don't today have that?
You have it.
You guys, do you have it?
You have it.
So my thing is, I want you to have this because when you have it, it kind of gets boring. It's like you follow the same thing every time. I say the same thing. Hey, can I just be direct with you? Yeah. Cool. I'm just going to talk to you like I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to talk to you like we're all high school buddies, okay? Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I do the same thing every time, and almost every time they say the exact same thing. So when that little dialogue happens, it's almost like, all right, now we can just have a conversation. And my competition is not saying that. Your competition is not saying that. They're salespeople. I'm not a salesperson, okay? We don't have time for that. We don't have time for this. We'll get into all this stuff. What we're talking about that Bob will probably talk to you here more about is getting dialed into what we call bear trap training. So you came to one of these kind of things of just lead conversion fourth quarter. I think you promoted that one of your workshops. We covered a lot of ground there. It was too much. It was like, holy cow, this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through one of those. For example, we're gonna go through, any of you guys ever use this offer accepted program? Seriously? Do you know what it is? Really? Okay, so this is how we beat multiple offers and bidding wars. Do you guys have a problem with multiple offers and bidding wars? Is that still a thing in the market? Are we still going to have inventory shortage this coming year? Cool. This is how we win. So we want to educate you on what the heck is it? It's free. How do we use it? And then more importantly, how do we use it up front to lock that customer into us and to make them handcuffed to us, right? So we're going to spend about 90 minutes or so, pull you guys in, and just, this is exactly how we do it. Here, write this down, follow this structure of the conversation, go do it, go do it, go do it. And then the group mentality and the culture, the tribe that Bob's forming here is like, hey, what are you using? Hey, I tweaked it out this way. And then I'm just telling you, I've been doing this for 3 years I'm not a realtor. Guess what they don't want to talk about? They don't want to talk about mortgages. They want to talk about their credit. You know what they want to talk about? You know what they want to see? They don't want to see their credit. They want to see houses. So I've been doing it as a lender. Hey, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm a lender. The scripts work ridiculously well, okay? We talk about upfront loan commitments so that we can get them literally clear to close on the buyer side before they even have a house. Guess where they're not going to go between us and you when they already have all their financials reviewed and they've got an upfront loan commitment? Guess how much time we can save you? National Association of Realtors says the average home buyer makes an offer in 2018 7 times and gets rejected before their 8th finally gets accepted. I'd be using that all the time with buyers. Here's my solution is this program, okay? We have an app, all this stuff works. Bob, I think I'm done. That's it. There's the easy buttons for me. And then where you're gonna go if you wanna write this down, Bob will get you more information on this, but just my name, brianheckman.com. brianheckman.com is gonna push through to where you can say, hey, get me signed up for the next workshop, the Zillow workshop, the first time home buyer workshop, whatever, or the bear trap training, we'll get you plugged into that. And our office is right inside your the same complex as you guys are in West Chase Commons. Cool?
Awesome, and we're gonna have a heavy focus on getting you in front of these specifics that he's talking about, because we want to give you tools to utilize when you are dialogue, whether it be face-to-face, voice-to-voice, text-to-text, whatever that might be, all right? Anything that's not just a generic cold call coming in or outgoing, all right? Because what we've learned is that there is a huge difficulty in the conversion, right? I used to teach it a totally different way because that's all I knew. I knew to teach what I did, and I've learned that what I did isn't working for you guys. Because basically, I would meet so many people coming into these open houses, I would just say, hey, look, you know what? You get the best deal in the world. The deal is the seller pays me to work for you. I'm really good at representing buyers. I can help you in any situation. First-time home buyer, got it. Investor, got it. Second home buyer, got it. You want the best person representing you to help you buy your first home or your second home or whatever your situation is. Your lucky day today. You just happened in an open house. You didn't know you were going to meet me, but guess what? All right, you just stepped in it big time because here I am. All right, and I'd have that conversation. You think I didn't? Challenge me. I'd go do it right now. Let's go on a little group field trip. Let's go set up an open house. I'll show you, right? And I'll just tell that same thing and say, hey, look, basically I'm saying you're an idiot if you choose to use anybody else but me. All right? The biggest mistake you're ever going to make is if you walk away without telling me that you want to see houses this week. All right? Now, what I've learned is that you guys don't do that so well. All right? You guys aren't there yet. So we're going to help you have some other dialogues about, hey, you know what? Have you, it's good to meet you. Have you ever had a situation already? Have you been looking for a while? Yeah, a couple weeks. Have you made any offers? Yeah, I made an offer, but we lost it to another offer. Hey, great. Have anybody talked to you about, what'd you call it? Offer accepted program? No, what's that, right? Boom, there we go, right? And we roll right into the script because you've got these tools right here ready to answer the situation, and it can be your status, right? It can be your, hey, I've got what you need. Because until you get to the point that you truly believe that you have what they need, right? That it is their lucky day to get to meet you, right? That attitude sells. People say it's arrogant. I'd say, well, that's, arrogance, confidence, there's a fine line. All right, okay? And I walk the line a lot, right? I do the same thing when, you know what? You can be part of whatever real estate company you want, right? If you want to continue to give your money away or not get trained or kind of waste your funds, but if you want to have the best real estate company, you'll find us. All right? Yeah,
I have a lot of people coming into open houses claiming that they're looking for a friend who's moving to town.
Yeah.
They don't want to be
Sure.
called and bothered.
Okay.
And I've made a joke out of it.
Good, you should.
I wish I had a friend like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people have.
Right, that's funny, man. You're like the sixth person that's walked in here. It's like all the friends are out looking for friends today. All right? I would seriously have some kind of conversation like that. You know what? Would you say your name was Erm? Hey, Erm, you know what I've learned? Okay, I've been doing this a long time. You know what that code word is? It's really you looking, right? Okay, but you don't want me hounding you. When I totally get that. All right? Because I've met these other realtors that are probably hounding you because they've been taught to get your name on a list and follow. Here's the thing. If you don't want me to hound you, I'm not going to hound you. I am so busy. I got work to do with people who are ready to buy now. So if you're there, I'm in, all right? If you're not, you rest free. Matter of fact, don't. You guys, here's the problem, all right? And I'm glad we have this conversation. So many of you, I'm hearing from it in the last 100 Ks I've taught. You have lists and lists and lists of people that are signing the big threads on our 100K Facebook page. What are you guys using for your sign-in sheets? Who gives a flying flip? Right? Because hear me and hear me clearly, right? I'm going to show you how to get in front of people, right? Whatever that traffic, and we're going to work on this. What does that look like? Okay? Hear me clearly. If they leave your face-to-face encounter, and you do not have another appointment booked with them, you will never see them again. I don't care how fluent and how upward slanted, right slanted, blue inked your note card is, all right? And I know people are going to differ with me, but I'm just telling you, I'm locking them in there and now, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Now, part of that appointment could be, hey, I need to get you with my lender friend, Brian, who's going to get you part of this guaranteed acceptance program, all right? That's an appointment, right? But the whole idea is, all right, just put your name and number down, and we'll see if I can catch you later on. Later on is never going to happen, all right? Guys, you should get this, right? If you don't have a date set at the bar for the next date, all right, when you met her for the first time, it ain't happening, man. Like, she's not returning my text, all right? How come my call is blocked, right? because I was good looking at 2 a.m., you know, and she had four cocktails in her. I'm not so she Googled me later and said, I don't know, right? I'm just glad I was able to lock one down before Google, right? Okay, for all that could happen. But that being said, it's just, you know, Brian talked about it being aggressive, and the bear trap concept is aggressive, and that's why we're all in, because you have to be aggressive. It's aggressive in the fact that you have what they need, okay? That you are the answer to their problem, right? And if they don't want your answer, let them go, right? Let's just go find the next one. You guys, so many people get so locked into one buyer, right? And they're so desperate for that buyer to convert, right? And by the way, they're not even a buyer. Okay, write these down. This is not on the PowerPoint. We did it last night. Here's a buyer. You guys have maybe heard this before. There are 4 criteria to be a buyer in my eyes, okay? And none of these, I'm going to tell you right now, none of them it's on your sign-in sheet. Does not mean that that's a buyer, all right? 4 criteria. Number 1, able to buy. What does that mean?
They have the credit worth.
They have cash, or they've met with a lender and can get a loan, or are willing to meet with my lender, and my lender's gotten back to me and said they can get a loan.
Right.
By the way, having a partner like Brian that can tell you, hey, let your yay be yay and your nay be nay, right? Hey, Brian, tell me no, right? But tell me no today, not 2 days before closing, right? If the answer is no, I'm down with that, okay? Just let me know now so I don't go spending time trying to reel in this thing that's never going to get reeled in, right? So we got to find out. So able to buy, very important, right? Number 2, needs to buy. All right, so able to buy, needs to buy. What is needs to buy? There's a driving force behind their motivation to buy, right? They just moved to town. Husband's in corporate housing. The wife is and kids are coming now soon. They want to get out of this corporate. They're up against a lease. Something's happening, right? That's causing them to have a need to buy. All right. Number 3, and it's close to number 2 but different. Willing to buy. What does that mean? Okay. Willing is another word for that. Is kind of / realistic, right? Oh, yeah, well, you know, if you can get me something 70% of value, all right, like 30% of the value, I'd buy it. I say, yeah, no kidding, I would too, you bonehead. Jeez. Right? What do you think, right? Okay, hello. All right, trust me, I would sit these bank-owned open houses, and I learned, like, literally my second one I sat, people come in, hey, Bob, you sound like a sharp young man. You know what? If you run across something that you could buy, that I could buy, maybe put $10,000 into it and turn and flip it and maybe make a $30,000 or $40,000 profit, let me know. I'm like, yeah, I'll let you know after I did it, right? What are you talking about? He said, what are you talking? I said, yeah, I could sell you the home for 70 grand and make 3%. That's $2,100, or I can make 40 grand worth of profit. I choose 40, right? And I'm 24 years old, and they said, well, you don't have that kind of money. I said, I don't know. I don't have that kind of money, or I don't have those people, but I'll go find it.
Right.
Trust me, you think I can't find somebody who wants to split 40 grand of profit with me? Right? You give me the money, I'll do the deal, and here we go, and let's split it. I did that, by the way. Pretty soon I had my own money, and my partner said, hey, how come you're not regular deals? Because I don't need your money anymore. What? That's not fair. Well, it is fair. Okay? I'm not talking about fair. Fair doesn't feed my family, right, Brian? All right? See, this is what it is. The only way for me to get more money is to get more share of the market. If we have a flatlining market, the only way to gain more share for you is to take it from somebody else. Right? If you want to double your income, somebody's income is going to get cut in half. Okay? Or the sum of a bunch of wannabes is going to add up to half. All right? You're just going to take one deal from about 20 people. Fair enough. That's fine. They can donate one. They can donate one. I'll do 20 more. You donate one of yours, and then from 20 people, and we're good, right? That's the way it works. Okay. It's just and I'm just telling you, we are not soft around here, right? We are not. We have no safe rooms. There's no pet kindness. You know. Oh, you got a C on your class. Let's go in college. Let's go over here and pet an animal so you feel better. All right. Screw that. Study harder. All right. And get your A. What? Jiminy Christmas. All right. Jim, welcome to the club. Wearing some reading glasses. That a boy. Love it. Woo! That a baby. Love it. Hadn't seen that before. That a kid. Nice job. All right. I've been there a long time, brother. Welcome. All right. Where was I? All right. So, okay. Needs to buy. Right. Willing to buy. right? And that means that they're like, oh yeah, if you find something really good deal, okay, whatever. Okay, you want to buy at market value, arm's length transaction, all right, where it's a legitimate sale. I'm good, right? See you. And then last thing is, oh, okay, here's the other thing that needs to buy. It's like, or willing to buy. Yeah, if you find me something, I'd probably move in the next decade. It's like, okay, talk to me in 9 years and 8 months, okay, or 9 years and 10 months. All right, it's still too soon. All right, and we'll go. So, okay, has a desire to move, right? And the fourth one, this is important, all right? Loyal to you. And not loyal to you because they sign an exclusive buyer agency agreement. Right? The next one of those that's ever enforced will be the first one. The only exception would be on that $48 million commercial sale that someone signed an exclusive buyer agency agreement. It was worth it taking a class. Because you understand, if you have an exclusive buyer agency agreement and they violate that, right? You know who you're suing, right?
Your ex-client.
You're suing the buyer, exactly. And you're taking them to the board? No. You're taking them to civil court, right? So you're going to take this little 87-year-old lady to civil court, and she's going to come, and News Channel 8's going to be right behind her, all right? And you know, it's like, come on, right? Why are they loyal to you? Because they know that you've got what they need, that you are the solution to their problem. That's where the loyalty. And by the way, I'm going to show you, just so you know, how to have a dialogue with them and not be afraid to have a conversation about how you're paid. And since I'm paid that way, I need to have an agreement. Okay, Margot, hey, first-time home buyer, I'm glad you walked in. Just so you know, the seller pays me to work for you, but here's the deal. I want you to know, right, that if I'm busy, and if I'm willing to work with you and you're willing to work with me, we're all in, and I'm all in for somebody. But I've got, quite frankly, let me ask you this. You said you worked at Franklin Templeton, right? This is the old life, right? So you worked at Franklin Templeton. When you worked there, okay, if you went and put in a good week's work, right, and you got there the next Tuesday when you're supposed to pick up your paycheck, and they said, we changed our mind, we're not going to pay you, would you continue to go to work?
No,
Absolutely not. Nor would I. I don't get paid by the hour. I don't get paid by the mile. I don't get paid by the lockbox opening thing that I do. None of that applies. I get paid to close deals, and I'm willing to work with you to do that. I want to make sure that you understand so there's no miscommunication. But because of that, when I'm willing to work for you and I'm going to agree to do that, I need to know that there's going to be a payday for me at the end. Because if not, I've got a commitment to my family. I've got to put Marley Spoon on the table. Right? And so with that in mind, well, what's Marley Spoon? Right? And then but as long as we have that agreement, I'm not going to make you sign anything. I just want to know, all right, you and I, eyeball to eyeball, are we down with that? And that means, even if later on that you're talking to your mom and your mom said, hey, you know, your cousin Judy has a license, that you're not going to, if that happens, you need to find out now and you communicate with me now. If you're going to use your cousin Judy, we need to have that what? What if they walk away? Good. You just saved yourself 6 weeks. Right? Now's the time to find out, right? Do your business or get off the pot, but are we in or are we not? All right? And you guys say you wouldn't say that. I wish there were cameras back then. I would have selfied myself all day and posted it up on Facebook to show you what I was doing. Because I was not going to, you burned me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on me. Not going to let it happen, right? And if I did get burned sometime, did that ever happen? Like, hey, Bob, I know we told you, just kind of like my Jerry Maguire, remember? I don't do contracts, Jerry. Remember the dad of the guy, Cush? All right? We don't do, but you know my word is like oak, right? And then when he got burned, he said, I'm trying to get over this whole my word is like oak thing. Well, he needs to play in San Diego, Jerry. And Bob Sugar said he can get him San Diego. All right? That's a great movie, by the way. Go, help me help you. Help me help you. That's great. Go watch. What happened? All right. All right. So, okay. So, I'm dating myself about Jerry Maguire.
Yeah,
he
kids
know.
would know what we're talking
Yeah, they were like, what are you talking about? Yeah, exactly.
In high school, they
Okay.
think you're
Crazy. I know. All right. So, converting people, Brian's going to show us that we're going to get really good at that. All right. And it's going to be different for everybody. Brian's going to teach us 7 bear traps. How many bear traps are there, Brian? 21. Holy smokes. Okay. You're going to find the one that worked, 1, 3, or 4 that work for you, right? Okay, and you might have them in your toolbox. You're not going to use them every time. You're going to find that work in different situations. Here's my first-time home buyer bear trap. Here's my VA buyer bear trap. Here's my, this guy's already been burned on 3 offers, never could get his offer accepted bear trap, right? So you're going to pull that out whenever you're ready, all right? And that skill set is critical to have, right? So we're going to work on that. We're going to become an expert in investor buying because you're going to meet them, right? An investor buying, buy and flip is not it. If you've got, I'm working with 6 buyers right now, okay, and they all want to buy at 70% of market value, that's not a buyer. They do not meet my criteria. By the way, let's back it up for a second. Number 1 criteria was able to buy, right? If they're not able to buy, but will still meet the other criteria, right? We don't throw them away. We put them in a crock pot. All right, everybody got that? We call them crock pot buyers. Shove them in there, turn on the slow cooker to low, right? And let these dudes go to work on them. Okay, we come back 2 months later, lift the lid. Oh, 570, keep going. All right, okay, and step back. But I'm not counting on my mortgage payment next month to be made by the commission I'm going to cash on the crock pot buyer. Are you with me? Because they are not ready to eat yet. That's harsh. We don't let the consumers in here. We're eating. We are going out. We are hunting every day. You guys understand that? If you think you wake up in the morning and you're not unemployed, you're wrong. Every one of us. Okay, your deal was already spent. Had a closing Friday. Great. Today's Monday. Okay, better yet, today's Saturday. I'm glad you had a closing on Friday. Now go to work. Right? It's just it's the truth, right? We got to keep going. Get this happen. We're going to become an expert in that. And we're going to work first-time home buyers with vigor. But who wants to do that all the time for the next 38 years? Nobody. Okay? I get that. So we're also going to teach you this. Okay? Generosity generation. In addition to our corn, we're going to show you how to plant oranges. Right? Huge difference. Okay? The mentality is that orange trees take longer. So it takes more faith. Takes more effort on the front side, but it pays off better in the long term. With this, and some of you are already there, right? Some of you come to me and say, hey, 80% of my business comes from referrals or introductions from people that already know, like, and trust me. Great. You've got a pretty good size orange grove working. That's awesome, right? But in the meantime, we want to continue to plant these, have the faith that they're going to produce the fruit. The good news is they are not annuals, they're perennials, that once they're bearing fruit, I just go pick the orange, right? And next year I could come back to that same place and there'd be another orange there. Now, do you guys still have to, orange trees, do they just stay? You have to check, make sure they're not diseased, right? So we got to treat them, fertilize them, prune them every once in a while, right? Still take care of them, but not nearly the effort it took to get them from sapling to producing fruit, right? So once they're there, and these are our know, like, and trust, people that already know, like, and trust us, ready to refer us new business on a consistent basis, right? How do we do that, though, like Brian said, without offending them, right? You just told me to stop asking for referrals because that's what I'm going to tell you to do. This is simple.
I got this.
Yeah, you do. Story of 7 levels of communication. Again, Michael Mayer's book, The 7 Levels of Communication. In there, he talks about what he calls the generosity generation. No one's going to give you an introduction to somebody to turn over to do that deal. By the way, can I back up for just 1 second? I want to finish the story of where we were about trying to get that listing on Coffee Pot, right? Okay, so he's not going to get the listing on Coffee Pot, right? Dylan, we said, sorry, Dylan, we like you a lot, nice young guy, man, but come back to me after you have some, experience under your belt, right? Fair enough. Would you do the same? Yes. The answer is yes. All right. Don't lie to yourself. Okay. But instead of having our listings lead us to our buyers, we're going to have our buyers lead us to our listings, right? So let me tell you what Dylan did instead. He took that and said, hey, look, you know what? I'm not going to lick my wounds or go suck myself in the corner or go pet a dog. All right. I'm going to go to work. And he went and set a bank-owned open house. He's sitting in a bank-owned open house in Pinellas Park. All right. He's sitting in a bank-owned open house in Pinellas Park, and in walks Susan and John, right? And Susan just graduated from USF, degree in communications, got her first job, and Dylan whips out his bear trap, first-time home buyer bear trap, right? And she is locked in. And doesn't even know that her ankle's hurting, but something's odd down there, right? Okay? Because he told him about $15,000 of her first payment, down payment assistance program and all this kind of stuff, right? So he bear traps her, gets her locked in. She goes, really? I was just getting ready to sign a lease, like a one-year lease to pay $1,238 a month for this little 2-bedroom, right, in Seminole. And Dylan's like, don't, dude. I mean, let me just show you, for $842, right, with minimal money down, we're going to get you into a 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhome right here. Sells her all good. She's in, right? She wins her over, right? What's her name? Susan? All right, get John. John's not in the picture yet. So Susan's there, all right? Susan gets in, right? So flash forward to November of this year, right? So November this year, Susan's sitting with her Aunt Gertie, and you know where Aunt Gertie lives? Coffee pot,
Nice.
right? And they're at Thanksgiving, and Aunt Gertie says, Susan, I'm so proud of you. You graduated, got your first job, bought your first townhome. That's amazing. How in the world, who would have thought? You at 22 years old, already homeowner, all these kind of things, so much is ahead of you. How in the world did you do that? Well, I worked hard in school, but how did you buy a home? Well, Dylan. I walked into this open house, and Dylan showed me the way, and I got in for, you know, honey, now that your Uncle John is gone, this place is getting a little big for me. Do you think what'd you say his name was, Dylan? Do you think your friend Dylan might be able to help me sell my home? I'm sure he would, Aunt Gertie. All right? And Dylan walks in, and does Dylan get to, hey, how come you're not one of the 42% control? Whoever the lady is or the guy or gal that owns 42% of the question, you know what they have? They have a welcome to Florida moment, we call it, WTF. Okay? What the WTF, right? What just happened? Because she checks the report every morning. New listings in Coffee Pot, right? And she opens up and says, who the is Dylan, right? Taking my business, right? How come I didn't get a chance to own that listing? And the answer was Dylan earned the listing back in February by taking care of Susan, right? That's the way it works, people. Dylan didn't have to dance for his dinner, right? To be the better listing presentation, because he was going to lose that battle, period, right? So instead, we did it backwards, right? We went and found it, and Aunt Gertie says, I'm all in. Because quite frankly, listing a home, that whoever owns that 42% of the market share is not that much better than Dylan anyway. We know that, right? Because marketing a home is marketing a home, right? But Dylan had to get in there before anybody else had a chance, right? And that's how you're going to do it. Okay, this is simple. I got this story 7L. The results are proven. Again, we're cheating, right? We're not going to follow any new path. We're just going to follow the same path. We're going to stop, period, asking, period, for, period, referrals. Wait. I thought we were supposed to get referrals. You are, but you're not going to ask for them, right? Because when you ask for them, you don't get them. All right? You ladies get this. A little play hard to get, right? When you're out there flaunting yourself, I don't want that action, all right? Okay? All right? I want the one that's like making it hard on me, right? Okay? I got to go chase a little bit, make it difficult. Jeanette had that down to a T, trust me. I chased her forever, all right? Okay, got tired, finally ran her out. I guess I out-endured her, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on people and relationships. Right now, we're kind of taught to, you're going to see the two illustrations, two different ways of doing business. One is what they call Dial and Don, this is the billboard guy, remember in the book, right? He had the billboard, he had the, all right, off his tooth and all that stuff, getting business, all that was happening for him. And the other guy said, hey, look, that's marketing to the masses, right? Hoping somebody drives by and likes my teeth, right? And calls me and says, I want to list with you, right? Or the other thing is I could do this instead. I'm going to dig deeper with a few rather than shallow with many, right? Dig deeper with a few rather than shallow with many. Write this number down, 2 numbers down. Ready? This is the only math I'm going to ask you to do today. It's not even math. I'm just going to show you where we get it. 150 equals 22,500. 150 equals 22,500. 150 is all you need in your database. That's it. You take care of 150 people, here's what I know. 150, know 150.
Right.
And 150 squared is 22,500. You will never want for business again if you take really good care. What does that mean? Deeper with a few. Focus on people and relationships. How can I help you? Stop ending every sentence with, by the way, if you and anybody know looking to buy or sell real estate, I really appreciate a referral. Okay? Get it out of your lexicon. Remove it. Right? I don't want to hear it. You're just going to say, how can I help you? And listen. Right? That's what the book's going to teach us to do. In essence, we're going to stop selling and start attracting. Fair enough? By the way, better way to live? Okay, what's your job today? Well, I got to get up and have coffee with a good friend and just find out how I can help. That kind of feels good, right? Or I got to get up today and smile and dial expired till noon, and then I take a quick break and smile and dial FSBOs until noon. Or I was already at noon, till 5, right? No fun, right? So here's what we're going to do. If you're going to do this is simple.
I got it.
Yeah. Agree to submit to accountability partner. All right. By the way, we're going to focus on these 2 efforts, right? And we're going to expand deeper onto specific techniques within each. All right, kind of a global perspective. You're going to find what works for you. We're going to put a buffet table out. You only have to eat what you want to eat. All right, if you don't like those little weenie things, all right, then pass them by. All right, what else is okay? What else do they serve at Super Bowl parties? Okay, mini tacos, mini, okay, or many, M-A-N-Y, I want to have many tacos. All right, okay. See, I always get you. I love you. You gotta get a laugh at it, okay? Someone's got to laugh at me. My Jeanette doesn't laugh at anything. Joseph's now stopped laughing. I got good jokes
simple.
too. I know. All right, going to meet with your accountability partner in person in between our sessions. So we're going to meet roughly every other week, all right? And when we meet as a group every other week, in between, you're going to meet with your accountability partner because you're going to actually sit there and say, hey, look, are you doing what you said you're going to do? All right? And you're allowed to ask those questions. Don't allow for anything to stop you from taking the steps in the process. Refuse to allow yourself, your accountability partner, or the group to make excuses for you. All right? You're not going to listen to them, and you're not going to give them. Everybody agree? All right? That's the committed. By the way, you'll see at the end the next time we're going to meet 2 weeks from today, we'll be back in this very same room. All right? And bring a friend, because here's what I know: half of you are not coming back. All right? So look to your left, look to your right. Okay, one of you is not probably not going to be here next time. So there will be room for you to bring somebody else. All right, it's just here's what I just know this. I've done this long enough because you're like, oh yeah, I can figure that out. Here's why you need the group. There are many things we teach online. Who's been to FHR University, right? We teach a lot of stuff online. There's a lot of stuff that can be done online. Here's why I love the group dynamic here, right? Groups work. Group dynamic works. In person, face-to-face, feeling and touching each other, pressing flesh, being accountable to each other, right? So you got to be able to do that. You understand? I also know this, okay? As technology is wonderful, but there are no online AA meetings.
Wow, that was pretty
That
good.
is good.
It's true, right? You got to have a sponsor. You know what I mean? You're doing life together, right? This business can be rough sometimes. And if we want to reach the pinnacle of our business, it's going to take work and it's going to take us supporting each other, right? So I'm going to highly encourage you to hang in there and do it, all right? Finish this time, don't just say it. So here are your commitments. By the way, you didn't have to commit $800 to me, right? All this training's free of charge, right? But here's what you do owe me. Be willing to change, okay? Admit that you need to change and change. Be honest and accountable. Agree to read one book a month at a minimum. All right, we'll direct you on some. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. I always get a snicker at that one. Okay, okay. It is not that hard. Okay. 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 But here's the problem: if you say yes, it is, then it is. Right? It takes a commitment. Here's the thing: it is the foundation of health. Absolutely. All right. Now again, if you're only doing 6 and you say, hey, look, 8, get yourself to 7. Start working yourself that way. I'm just telling you, right? And part of that, here's an idea. How about if we live like we tell our kids to live? Right? My son, older son, right? We have a rule, 1 hour before bedtime, he's off all electronics. Right? Because I know that the stimulus, you know what I mean, he's got to wind that brain down. Okay? As I say, hey, Joseph, time, you know what? It's time to get off the electronics. And then I go to bed. Right? I do it, right? Eat well. How about this? You know what I get? I don't like raisins, so it's not ants on logs, all right? But it's logs with peanut, you know what I mean? That's what I'm going to have, as my afternoon snack today, right? Would I rather have a spicy nacho Dorito bag? Okay, and a Dr. Pepper, all right? But I'm not going to do it, right? I'm going to live like I tell my people to live, or tell those who I care about. So we're going to agree to do this. We're going to agree to drink 64 ounces of water a day, right? It helps. A, it fills you up, and B, it flushes you out, right? Okay? 30 minutes cardiovascular exercise 3 days a week. What in the world does that have to do with selling real estate? The answer is nothing but everything. Right? As I start to get control and discipline myself, let me ask you this. When you're going to go do business with somebody, you want to do business with a schlub or somebody that has their stuff together? Right? And if I walk out, guess what? Two things happen. Not only do I look better, so it looks like I appear to have my stuff together, but my mentality is, Brian ran a 5K this morning, so he walked in there, and I walked in here, chest out, head held high, saying, hey, you know what? I bet you I ran further than everybody else today, this morning so far, right? And there's an air about you when you do that that says, damn straight you should do business with me. It's true, right? It really is, all right? It's just the way of the world. You can like it, or it's when I taught, right? So I taught in inner city, kind of, not in the hood. You would call it the hood. In LA, we call it the edge of the hood, because the real hood was Compton, all right? And we were like on the edge of the hood in Bell Gardens area, right? Okay, so as I was teaching, I had a lot of gang members in my, not the hardcore ones, because the hardcore ones by high school had already dropped out, right? Because they actually had more problems in middle school in Los Angeles because of that. The rough kids hadn't dropped out yet. By the time they got to high school, they dropped out, right? So here I am teaching these guys, and they'd say, and I spoke Spanish, so we got along well, right? And I just set some ground rules, and it was all good, right? I just said, hey, look, welcome to my gang. Right? I know you joined a gang because you have no structure at home. So guess what? For 55 minutes in my class, welcome to structure. All right, I'm going to provide you what you joined a gang for anyway. So here we are, right? And they respected that. And I also said, hey, if you're going to fail, that's fine. Fail quietly. All right, don't interrupt the other kids that want to learn. If you're going to sit in the back and fail, that's cool. All right, just do it quietly so you don't interrupt anybody else. But they responded to that, right? And so we'd have but they'd come to me and say, hey, Mr. McD. They couldn't pronounce my name, so I was Mr. McD. Mr. McD. You know, you're good with us and everything else, but you know, the administrators, like the vice principal, they treat us differently, right? I said, time out. I said, look at you. You have a hairnet on, right? Yeah, but that's just the way we roll. I said, I get it. Okay, fair enough. I said, you have starched jeans. Yeah, but you got a flannel shirt with a t-shirt underneath that's buttoned at the top only and everything else is open, right? Yeah, that's just the way. I get it. Your choice. But you're not fitting in with the rest of us. They're treating you different because you want to be treated differently. Well, that's not right. People shouldn't judge you by what you... I said, I don't care if it's right. It is, right? So whether you believe it or not, all right, I'm down with you. Dress how you want to dress, but be prepared for the consequences of dressing the way you're dressing. If you don't want people to walk around to the other side of the road because you're dressed like that, then don't dress like that. All right? Because I'm telling you this, if my wife were in here, right, and she saw you coming at us from the other side of the street, we would go to the other side of the road. Yeah, but you know me. I said, I know you, but if I didn't know you, I would go to the other side of the road because I'm assuming that you are hanging with the wrong crowd. All right? So don't give me that. Don't try and pretend that it doesn't matter. Don't try and pretend that how you look and how you dress and how you appear when you meet people doesn't matter. All right? Yeah, we get these threads. All right? Do you think, I was thinking about getting purple and green highlights in my hair and 15 nose rings. Do you think it should matter? Right? Do what you want. It's your business. Right? But here's the thing. People say, oh, no, you should do it because people shouldn't care. Right? I'm like, I don't care if you think people should care. They do care. And let me ask you this. Do you think your other nose ring wearing friends would do business with you if you didn't have nose rings? Yeah, probably. Do you think somebody who doesn't have a nose ring will do business with you because you have a nose ring? Maybe not. It's up to you. Your choice. All right? I'm just telling you. Right? And I'm not going to lie to you here. Everybody else say, oh, it shouldn't matter. Right? Whatever. Okay? Whatever. Volunteer at a nonprofit 4 hours a month. Go give of yourself. Get outside yourself. Go give. I don't care if it's teaching Sunday school or helping homeless dogs or helping homeless people or helping homeless. Okay? We give help to homeless, right? Or hope to homeless. Helping those people without a house, right? Okay? Whatever it is. I don't care. Give me ideas. It could be anything, right? Just donating some time in and of yourself outside of it, right? Donate 10% of your income to a church, synagogue, or other nonprofit. I dare you, right? Oh, Bob, I don't do church. Great, don't do church. Give it to a nonprofit. Here's what happens. 90% is better than 100%. What? I get it. Financially, it doesn't make sense. But my mathematic mind tells me that 90% of 200,000 is greater than 100% of 50,000. I do know that. And so I think you get blessed when you do these kind of things, all right? It's my own personal opinion. Worship once a week, preferably with some type of corporate. Go hang out with people that are like-minded, all right? Whatever that means to you, all right? I'm a Christian. I come from a Judeo-Christian background, all right? Very clear about that. Make no apologies about it and so on and so forth. I'm not here to proselytize you because I think I'm just going to encourage you to slow it down, all right, enough to consider and let a higher being speak to you. Because if you are called to be part of that, that higher being will speak to you, period. If you give them the gap to get in there. If you get yourself so busy you're not paying attention, you miss it, all right? All this is going to require discipline and accountability. It's not going to be easy, but it'll make a difference in those 5 LYs, and we're going to finish this time, all right? We're not going to just start. Many people start a marathon. Many people start talking about laying out $100 and say, I'm going to do a Ironman triathlon, all right? But we'll see if Brian finishes. I'm going to challenge him, all right? It's easy to talk about it. $100? $100, okay? All right? Okay, I understand, all right? Okay, no, I'm not going to bet because I know Brian. That'd be a bad bet in my eyes, all right? Because I think he's going to do it, all right? Some of you I've seen before, I'd put the money out, okay? All right? But because our reputations precede us, right? It's just the reality is, I believe that he does what he says he's going to do. All right? So period. And that's how you want people to think about you, by the way. Cool? This is simple?
Gotcha.
All right. So next time, here's what you're going to do. In our meetings, we're going to do 20 minutes of laser focus on corn planting. We're just going to solve your problems. When I say solve your problems, AKA overcome your excuses. Okay? You're going to tell me why you didn't do an open house in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to say cockamamie. All right, I don't want to hear it. And you're going to say, I don't have any business. And I say, well, how many open houses did you sit? And you're going to say, it rained on and then my kids' soccer and the soccer schedule wasn't predetermined like 16 years ago. All right, it was. Okay, you knew about it, so quit making excuses and go find what you're going to do business. All right, if you went to more than one bagel training, I'm going to shoot you. All right. Kidding, by the way, kidding. Today's day and age. I was just kidding. I was just kidding. Just kidding, camera. Everybody understand? Just kidding, right. 30 minutes of laser focus on conversion. That's where Brian's going to come in. We're going to talk about his techniques, what we're doing, how we can tweak what we're doing and get better at that, right? How we're going to figure those things out. 40 minutes on growth strategies for our business, converting clients into closed sales. Again, heavy emphasis on closing. Because guess what? You get paid at closing. You don't get paid for names on a sheet of paper. You don't get paid for driving people around. You don't get paid for writing offers. You get paid for closing deals, period. Everybody understands that, yes?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, this and one more session is going to be live. After that, we're going to see what we're going to do. We're going to have a total of 6. How those play out after the next one will be right back here 2 weeks from today, which is the 26th. Okay, so we'll be back here. After that, we'll do it live someplace, and I'll be on a Zoom. You guys get together live and meet at one of our offices, and I'll be Zoom sessioning in. We'll figure out, or I might be at that office doing it live and zooming out to the other sessions. We'll figure it out. Okay, so you don't have to. We'll get that done. Okay, and yes, I said so. Final sessions will be Zoom. All right, so here's what you need to do: get the 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. All right, you can get it online if you want. Okay, perfect. And read it. Yeah, getting it doesn't apply, right? Getting it and reading it, I hope I'm implying that, okay? Come with an accountability partner of mine. Bring with somebody with you. Like I said, half of you aren't going to come back next time, so there'll be plenty of room, all right? So bring somebody else with you. Join the Facebook group page, all right? I'm going to encourage you to join that. I do need to go on there and see if I need to approve anybody that's been requesting. So I'll get in it because it's a closed group, all right? You have to have permission to get in, right? Find a way to be around other like-minded people and begin to create new habits, become their slave. Any questions I can answer for you? Yes, ma'am.
When are we going to get the slides?
Slides, email me, or I'll post them on the 100K Facebook page, first of all. But it's a lot of times people say, where'd it go? It's always on the attachments. There's files. I think it's called files, so it'll be there, right? But if you want to email me, I don't have my email, BobMCD, BOBMCD, at futurehomerealty.com. And you can get hey, Bob, need the slides from 100K, and I'll just reply back. Cool? And I'll get them for you. Absolutely. And last thing, those of you who want to stick around, if you've registered, if you haven't registered, we have room. 1 o'clock, we're coming back right here. There's a guy doing an appraisal class, John Barcello, a value-centric, how learn to think like an appraiser. So if you want to take a quick break and come back, very valuable. We are going to be recording it, so we will, if you miss it, we'll be uploading it at FHR University as well. Cool? All right. Thanks for coming. Any questions you have, let us know. Have a great day. All right. Yes.
Was that the same appraiser that was at the Seminole office?
With